Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, 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 all of you guys. Great to see you in the house. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Man, what a great bunch of people. I sound a little bassy. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I was just going to ask, how was your day? But, yeah, I guess we heard it's not really doing so well. Welcome, everybody. Here it's Monday, and it feels like it's Wednesday, and I don't know why. How does it feel to you guys? Maybe it's Tuesday where you are,
Yes.
so that's a little bit closer to Wednesday. Somewhere in the middle, right there. It's Monday, and it means that it's an interview night, and we're going to have amazing guests today. So much to talk about.
Most definitely.
He is not only a passionate enthusiast and hobbyist together with his family, but everything RC related. And if you don't know what is RC, it's a remote control of vehicles, all different kinds. The ones in the air, the ones in the water, and on the road. And he is also a humanitarian photographer who is going around the world helping people in remote regions and telling their story. So that is going to be later on, but in the meantime, we want to say hi to you in the chat.
Went and jumped windows. No. Okay, I gotta fix that. You talk. Sorry.
And we wanted to say hi to everyone who is coming in here. For example, Raket, who celebrated his 14K. Well, he celebrated it last week, but today he had a celebration live stream. So once again, congratulations on that. And 15K is coming just around the corner. Hello to
1 million K, like I told him tonight.
1 million K, that's right. Do some discoveries. JP Production is here. Hello, welcome back here. Let me give you back your wrench here. There you go. Mickey is here as well. Drone Kings, guys, if you are in RC community especially, or if you're a photographer, that's definitely two communities that is definitely want to hear everything and anything about it. This is a channel who just passed 20K, and if you are RC enthusiast, he is doing a giveaway. That's right. He's doing a special giveaway for those who are passionate about their RC toys. I don't wonder if that's an insult if I say it's RC
I would
toy.
I would tread carefully with that one.
Yeah, I will have to ask that to our guest.
Sorry, guys. I had a lot of technical issues. We're getting that sorted out. There, I think we got it. Guys, this is a channel you definitely, if you haven't checked it already, please do. And you're going to want to stay around to hear about him, because he is absolutely phenomenal. That's his RC channel. And this is his Humanitarian Photographer channel. And he told me that he has another channel at over 6,000 with aquarium tanks.
Wow, and I haven't found that. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, he hasn't done much lately because of all the change and stuff. He hasn't had a chance and actually got rid of most of his saltwater tanks, but that was something of his past. So it sounds like it's still out there.
Wow, well, that's amazing. Multi-talented, as in description, multi-talented person today, and so happy he could make his time before his next trip.
Yes.
Because he's always on the road. So we are very thankful he could make time. And guys, if you want to participate in the giveaway and know a little bit more about that, get your people ready. Invite your friends. let them know.
That's right, guys. And please also note tonight, we are 600 roughly views away from hitting 300,000 views. It'll be our anniversary Friday, March 29th. Will be 1 year since we did our first live stream. So we're asking you guys if you can help us tweet this out extra hard. There you go. So roughly we need 2,900, 700, 600 and 622 to be exact. So if we can do that tonight, there's another milestone we've crossed. We also, thanks to Ray Kit, and that's why I want to say that while he's in here, we are officially now 6,700. He put us over the top tonight. And I showed it earlier to Minx Laura as well, who gave us some as well. These are fantastic people, guys, with big channels that don't even need to think about us anymore. Didn't even have to do interviews with us, and still do all these things to help us out, and that means the world. I mean, that's what true YouTube spirit is. I like to think they really do it. They really do possess it, these channels. So big shout out, guys, to Ray Kid. If you haven't checked him out already, he's in there. You definitely want to get connected with him. I kid you not. And if Mick Laura's here, I hope she will drop by after. We're definitely going to throw her name into the hat as well. So
yes, once again, I had her playlist playing all night long.
Yeah, you're addicted.
And it so was all night long that I even overslept and didn't hear my alarm today. Our son woke me up. That's how good her videos work. That's true.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to ASMR and coffee. That's now 2 addictions. That's crazy. Well, guys, I hope you enjoy your Monday, and I hope you enjoy your Monday with us. We're going to do a roll call just in a little bit of time to say a special thank you to each and every one of you who joined us today at the beginning of the live stream. We appreciate it if you do hit that like button and share it out. And of course, if you're new, if you can subscribe in that red rectangle or a little square down below somewhere and hit the bell to know when we are on next. Although we're here almost all the time, 6 times a week at 7 p.m. Eastern from Sunday to Friday, except for Thursdays at 1 p.m.
How you doing, Mr. Paul Murray? Had a good time with you on the on the panel this morning on Rogers. That was always entertaining with you. Never a dull moment. I think everybody had quite the time. So never thought I'd spend a Monday lunchtime like that ever. But you know what? You guys never cease to amaze me. Kinky Curly KY. I can't say long, but just spot by the smash the like button and watch a little. Thank you so very much for that. Really do appreciate it. Like I say, we'll say a big hi to each and every one of you in just a minute. Treetop Photography, welcome. Great to have you in here. How are you doing tonight? Hope you are doing well. Ooh.
And I already see some people retweeting, and also I see hashtag Blue Ranch Troop selfies on Twitter. I love you guys doing that, especially now when it's transition between seasons, and I finally get to see green grass and flowers while it's still snowing and below zero in Montreal. I do appreciate that. It is. It keeps my sanity intact. Thank you guys so much. And if you would like to add your selfie or any kind of picture really with hashtag Blue Ranch Group, you can post it on Twitter and add hashtag Blue Ranch Group to it so we can find it, and we're going to feature at the beginning of the show and at the end on the screen. It's a great shout out and also a great way for you to connect with each other outside of YouTube as well. Say hi to each other, comment on each other's pictures, follow each other on Twitter. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket, as we always say here. And we really enjoy looking at them every evening here. It kind of have become this online album, almost like a coffee table book, and we're definitely going to feature some more of that and some days past on our Friday celebration night, which is going to be a party, guys. So book your calendars. 29th of March, 1 year anniversary of our show, and it's going to be a party starting at 7.
Oh, it's awesome. It's going to be so much fun. I can't believe it's been that already. It's just
I know.
Of an eye.
It's hard to know, and I did promise I didn't do it, but guys, if you can share any of your memories from this year past that you have with us, so you're more than welcome to do that. I will hopefully put today the Google Sheet to submit it to us so we can share with everybody on Friday, but if you can just DM us, that will be fine too. Looking forward to that. For example, Polly Vlogs Games, I'm pretty sure, has a lot of memories with us since he has been with us since the beginning. here. We love to see you here, still hanging out with us. Yeah, still taking care of us too. Young Magnets and Zero to Millionaire is one of our recent followers, and we love to see you back here. Thank you so much. You get to see our interviews finally.
Yes.
Paul Morey, it's always a wonderful panel at Canadian Drone Hub. Yes. It is. It makes Roger, Kim, and Val's day. Yes, it makes our day too.
Yeah,
it is amazing. Exactly. Thank you so much. The Tank RC is here, and we have to thank the Tank RC for possibility of having our guest today, because that's how we connected. And so thank you so much, the Tank RC. Thanks to him, we have the guest today. We love, guys, when you suggest us different topics and different guests that you have found online. It's always a co-op, as I always say, and we love that because we want to bring you what you are looking for as well. It's RC Tuesday, Drone Kings and Darwin says. That's right. It is.
Right.
Good morning.
And there's our guest, guys. CCXRC in the house. There you go.
Got it.
Got it? Perfect.
Yes.
Can't have him walking with a wrench.
No.
But he's easy to spot right now, so it's the time to grab him. Great channel. A really, really great channel. Cannot stress that enough. You definitely want to check him out, get to know him better. And you are going to tonight. Thanks for this interview. Thanks for him agreeing to join us. It is going to be such a great chat. We had one before that started to test out the Zoom, and I'm looking forward to it. So,
and don't forget, he's running a 20K giveaway on his channel as well. So that's an extra bonus, I think, for the timing that we're on. He just crossed 20K.
And guys, too, please remember that we are trying to see if we can hit 300,000 views tonight. And we're getting there thanks to all you guys. So if you can tweet it out, tell people all that good stuff, it will really help a lot. And maybe we can pass it with you tonight and with our guests. Wouldn't that be awesome? So, but either way, we got a ton of great people in here already. You guys are really amazing, and looking so forward to our conversation. One of the great things that this year has brought to us is the chance to do things like this.
Yes, and that's exactly it. You know, the possibility to talk with so many amazing creators and people in general, you know, from anywhere, from YouTube, from across the world, from Hollywood. That has been quite a ride, I must say. Definitely. And lots of that is going to come in our memories on Friday together with you guys. Above and Beyond, hello. And CCRC, our guest, says it's jam in the chat already. That's right, guys.
Yes.
Hit that like button, share it out, let everybody know there's a whole bunch of milestones to celebrate. There's giveaway on our guest channel, and our guest is going to be an amazing person to talk with about whole different subjects. So like we said, he's not only an enthusiastic RC hobbyist with his family, but also a humanitarian photographer. We want to know more about what is humanitarian photographer.
Humanitarian photographer. This is going to be so interesting, guys. I mean, what a mix of personalities. And that's the thing, like we're always saying that YouTube is like real life. I mean, people have their interests, but they're not locked into one thing all the time. And this is a guy that actually does make two channels about two completely different things, and just shows more of the facets of his interests, like his passions. And I love people like that are heavily driven by passion. And once you hear him talking about it, you're going to get it right away, why he does the two channels and why he loves them so much to do what he does. So that's really inspiring and cool.
That's right. And therefore, like Treetop Photography is a wildlife and outdoor photographer. That is awesome. Woodbudgeon Outdoors is here as well. Alex the Blue Man. Well, Andrew's going to do a roll call just in a little bit of time, guys. So don't go anywhere. You're going to get called out and shouted out.
Let's take a look, guys, actually, and see. We're having a little bit of an issue right now. I'm trying to figure what's going on. But in the meantime, I want to call it who I can here. It's not showing them all. Something bizarre going on. I'm going to have to say a great big echo hello to Young Magnatus 02 Millionaire. Good to see you. I want to say a big hello to you, Drone, as well. Wood Pigeon Outdoors, Twosome Discoveries, the Tank RC, Shadow Black, Sarah's Abstract Expressions, Rock Truck Rob is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Ray Kit's in here. Rex Meat Boy Music as well. Ray Kit, I cannot thank you enough again for tonight. You're just the kindest and most amazing person. Polly Vlogs Games as well as in the house. Great guy right from the beginning. Paul Murray as well, lots of laughs. OBI Kids Fun, how you doing? Net Cruiser RC Tech Labs, this is your night, this is your interest, this is it. Mickey XOXO is in the house. Mickey, how are you doing tonight? Great to see you. Meme Piano. That is such a clever, I still think, put together. That will draw curiosity clicks, and that's what you want. Cupolas Comedy, well, how are you doing tonight? JP Productions, great having you in here. Jenny O'Brien is in the house, guys. Say hi to Jenny. Jakey Jax, how are you doing? Jackie Haru, Food Reviews, our little sweetie of the Blue Wrench group. Honey Lulu is in the house. Honey Lot is in the house. From Zero to Homestead is in the house. Drone Kings in Darwin is in the house. Dark One is in the house. Our guest for this evening, CCRC, is in the house. Canadian Jackalope is in the house. Blue Gear RC Videos is in the house. Another RC channel. Great having you here. Artsy Studios, how you doing? Alex, the Blue Man reviewer and gamer. Above and Beyond. Much love to each and every one of you guys. I know I missed some. It's acting a bit wonky, so please highlight our name and say hi so we don't miss you. Speaking of our anniversary on YouTube for live streams, how could you celebrate without Terrell's artwork channel? Our original wrench, guys. They've been with us since the beginning. Just fell into place and worked out.
Yes. And
we'll never be able to thank Terrell for all the amazing things that he has done for us. Absolutely phenomenal. Grants RC, how are you? Good to see you. Hope you're having a fantastic night and welcome. Great to see you guys. And maybe you guys can help us get the word out to more RC channels as well. You guys have groups and stuff like that you can let them know that's going on. We would really appreciate it. The more the merrier. Always great to see you guys all together from your groups and that's so cool. So
Net Cruiser is here as well. You shared it everywhere as well. Hello to you. The Typical Hustlers, Meme Piano. Hello, Leonard Shea. Great to see you too. Rex, Meat Boy, Music. Hello, good to see you here as well. I will say hello as always to everybody that's just listening or watching us. Say hello in the chat if you can, and if you can't, that's okay too.
There you go. You're getting better. You're watching me. I like that. I like that. Yes.
Have a great, amazing evening with us. And boom!
Farmal, how are you, buddy?
The more, the merrier. Farmal Fanatic is here.
Good to see you, buddy. Great to see you, actually. How you doing tonight? Hope all is well. Oh, and you don't have to get the money. Just seeing you is always great, buddy. Another great channel, guys. Lots going on there. You want to meet channels tonight. He has amazing Friday night shout out. Some of the highest energy on YouTube, I kid you not.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, definitely have to check him out as well.
I wonder what his secret is behind his
I don't know.
energy.
I think oxygen and a blood transfusion. It's got to be to do that much. He plays me out just watching him.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Jerry, awesome. Sunset Travels, how are you doing tonight? Good to see you. Stingray Steve is in the house. How are you? Hope everybody's having a good night. Well, it's true, Ray Kid. Ray Kid, if you haven't checked out Farmal, you really got to see him in action. It is a spectacle, to say the least. He's got energy that I could even wish for. Oswald, how are you? Great to see you. Remember, guys, we are seeing if it's possible tonight to get over 600 views. We need a few, and we can actually hit 300,000 total views for our channels. And since it's the week of our anniversary, that's cool. So another milestone. Been lots of milestones lately, and thank you guys for each and every one of them, because without you guys there'd be none to celebrate. So
yes, that is so amazing, guys.
Did I bring my spare voice, Lash? Good to see you, by the way. And I don't know, and I might need it because I am a little horse. So a pony then, if I'm a little horse, I guess. That's an old Benny Hill joke type of thing.
Did he just say I'm a little horse, I'm a pony?
I said I'm just, oh my God almighty. And once again, the European gets the whole expression back afterwards.
That was so cute.
I said I'm a little horse, I must be a pony then. Oh. I know.
Yeah, Andrews has been under the weather just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to tread lightly. Oh, my. Minion Motto, hello, good to see you. Eileen, how are you doing? Oswald here as well. I don't know if I've already told you, but that's the name of my godfather. So every time I see it, it brings me warm-hearted memories. So thank you so much for that. Wanted to guys let you know that music that you can hear at the beginning and throughout is provided to us by MU Free Music for your videos, free audio files for your videos. Go and check that out.
Good evening, Grant McIntosh. Hello, Xenia and Andrew. What did I come into? We're not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure. Let's just put it that way. I'm not.
Andrew is a pony. I can see the memes coming up already with that.
And she doesn't like it. I told her last night she's like that guy from Family Guy. Remember the foreign guy that works with Peter all the time and gets it? Oh, it's funny because he's a pony. That's what he meant.
It's awful.
It is.
We should stop this in instant. Oh my guys, yeah, join us tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a lot of this, I think. Although it's TikTok Tuesday, we're going to try and contain this because we have a guest today.
You're going to try. We're going to give her a bell.
Yeah.
Oh, Gil is in here as well, guys. There's so many great channels in here, and definitely we're surrounded by good people, all you guys, and we're going to have such a good interview. This guy is so fantastic. We're going to have him on in just a few minutes, and can't thank you enough for being here. Elite Rockstar, how you doing? Great to see you. Great to see you. Gabriel Z as well. Guys, remember, we are on our way to hitting 300,000 views on our 1-year anniversary. We're celebrating all this week, but it's officially on Friday since we did our first live stream. So if you guys can let people know on that, it is really appreciated. Let's see where we're at. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Wanted to remind you guys also that only this week, till the end of the week, we run a very special Blue Orange Group sale for our anniversary and for March Madness. So just till the end of the week, you get free shipping if you are US and 20% off the merchandise with special codes that only are available during our live streams. So don't miss it. I'm going to put it in the chat. Check that out. The socks, shirts, leggings, and everything else.
Paul, you knocked that off. A lot of people have been telling Centroid early images that don't you find you look a lot like Pusa Studios?
Oh, interesting.
And then I made the mistake of saying that I was adopted when born. So that raised, and then the math started coming up between years, and found out that mostly his family is from Montreal, and then just things started going like that. I'm not originally from Montreal where I was adopted, but...
Well, you never know. You never know. Somebody's going to do the detective work there. It feels like...
Yeah, they're going to do it.
Oh my guys. Thank you so much, Paul Murray. Thank you so much for Super Chat. Do appreciate that a lot. Rex, Meat Boy Music, just stick around. You're good. You're good here. It's all positive here.
I was getting... Okay. I want to reverse what I just did then. We'll give another chance. Because I was not happy with that. But anyways,
Rick,
give you another trip.
Hashtag Blue Ranch Group. Hashtag you
don't give out money tonight. I gave now. I'm telling you, I don't want to see that.
Are you guys throwing it back and forth?
Yes. Stop. You don't have to. You just hit 14,000. I did it to celebrate for you. You put that right back in your pocket.
The Tank RC. Thank you so much. Do appreciate that. Money war. Yeah. I love that, guys.
Oh my God almighty. All right, guys, let's take a little look and see. I'm going to see if we have some blue. I think I might even
look-see.
A look-see. Well, people have heard of it. It does exist.
14,000 still have to steal for food. Oh my God, we love you, Rickett. Oh,
he is. There we go, guys. Oh my God, sorry. Here, I'm gonna give you some sec. I'll do that. I'll be right back.
And Gil Skills is also being crazy just because.
You guys,
come on, guys. No, this is. This back and forth here. Gil Skills, just because you're awesome. Well, you're awesome as well. And guys, if you missed that, Gil Skills was on our stream live right here, sitting on this couch doing a live stream together with us, with Andrew, while him and his wife was visiting Montreal I think it was 2 weeks ago. Time flies. Thank you so much. Check him out as well, guys. And while we're waiting, guys, don't forget to like and share. We do appreciate when you do. Let us know, and there we can go through the selfies right there, since we are sharing it. There you go. We have a selfie here. Oh, look at that. Look at the amazing kitties. That face didn't look too happy there. Oh no. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anna Maria Smithies. Thank you so much. That's amazing. And we have Jackie on 2 screens as always. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cute? It's a bumblebee. It's a bumblebee. Thank you, Jackie. And we have Mr. Rickett.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, nice. Mr. Rickett.
I love it.
Awesome. Love that so much. That is awesome, guys. Check him out. And we have Polynesian Vlogger.
Look at that.
With
looking sharp.
#Blue Ranch Troop merch in his hand. That's right.
If I'm not mistaken, Polly is one of the first ones to ever do a Blue Ranch selfie.
Yep.
So that is a testament to time, and it's great still have you around, my friend, that you're still with us and still watching us, and that really is awesome. And you're just spectacular. Awesome doesn't even fit.
Rickett says, Mom, I'm famous.
Finders, beepers. I love that name. Hi, guys. We managed to get in the abandoned courthouse. I've just seen you have gone live, so thought we would say hi. We can't come into the stream because we have to be quiet.
They are not trespassing.
No problem. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And they are awesome, guys. From across the pond as well, Finders Beepers, a really great channel. And Gary Foster, of course, tweeting it out. You are always so good to us. Really, truly do appreciate it, my friend. Guys, the retweeting and that really does help us out a lot. Good morning. Oh, they all didn't go in order. Okay, I forgot to hit it. Wood Pigeon Outdoors. Working on the workshop, maybe. Maybe I should take time to relax. Watch. Yeah, those are the sign of hands that need a break, my friend. Take care of yourself.
Wow, yeah, be safe, please.
Tank RC, you are always awesome, looking good, my friend. And thank you so much for introducing me to so many great people on your stream and stuff like that. You really are awesome, including yourself. It's been a pleasure since getting to know you. I think we met in Rogers first, so I'm not mistaken. You are. Naya, I see that you both have glass on, so I'm wearing mine too. That's what I'm talking about, Vexicor. Looking smart, looking sharp. Thank you so much. Vexy, there's the selfie. Always beautiful artwork.
Yes, love that. We have Marcel Harding in here as well. Good to see you. And Jewels, hello as well. And Tornado Gaming is in. Hello. And Jelly's Journeys as well.
There we go. All right, guys, there we go. We got them. We covered them. They are awesome. We're about to bring on our guest, I think, for time.
Yes, I think we're ready.
Yes.
I really want to talk with him. So let's do that. Let's bring him in. And guys, now you have a couple of seconds time to retweet if you haven't yet. Let's get us to that 300K milestone and the guest in here and get some people watching.
There you go, guys. I even put the wrong one in. That's right. That's right. We're saying that tonight, if we can get a little over 600 in that, we will hit 300,000 subscribers for our channel tonight. So if you guys can help us out. Hey, Indiana kid, what's going on? Good to see you. I'm glad you can make it. Awesome that you can make it. Welcome. There you go. Fixing up. It's nice to see you in here. And I think you're really going to like our guest. I want to get that set up right now, guys. And he'll be joining us in just a second. So
that's right, guys. Just a reminder for those that just coming in and wondering what are we going to be doing today. Well, today is an interview night, and that means that we're going to have an amazing guest. He's a multi-talented personality and amazing creator. He has multiple channels. His biggest one just hit 20K. Oh, JP, thank you so much.
Oh my God, it's not necessary.
We're just glad to see you again. Thank you so much.
Just having you guys here is more than thanks enough. But thank you so very much for supporting us. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, Jules, yes, it is MAC that I'm wearing on my lips right now. Ruby red. Now, Mac, if you're listening, I really love your lipstick. So our guest today is so amazing.
Yes.
His main channel, as I said, just crossed 20K, and he is running a giveaway right there for those of you that are RC enthusiasts.
And even if you're not, like, there's amazing things to see in here, just to say.
That's right. He's Tony Cece. I hope I pronounced it right. And his channel is Cece and RC. That's his main channel, but he also does humanitarian photography, going around the world to remote locations and taking pictures to tell story about these places that we probably haven't even heard of, or most likely never are going to be traveling to. Different places from regions less fortunate as well, sometimes from even US locally if there has been a tornado or a big impactful event. He also takes pictures there. He's there to capture the story and tell it to us. So definitely want to talk about his travels as well. And he's going to be joining us. We're going to be talking all about that tonight. And he's just ringing the bell and joining us tonight.
Yeah, we'll get him set up and then we'll bring him on in just a second. So
that's right. That's right, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button and share. And Laj is in the house as well. So
Yes.
good to see you. So good to see
it
you.
is. We missed you, and it's such a pleasure to have you in. Tom, what channels from back when?
Oh my God, yes. Friday, Laj. Friday, we're going to have a huge celebration for a year anniversary.
Without further ado, I guess we'll say hi to our guest for tonight. How you doing, Tony?
Hello.
Speaking of our anniversary on YouTube for live streams, how can you celebrate?
Oh, you're going to pause your lives. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take care of the chat, so don't even worry about that. You can take the volume off and just chat to us.
How are you, Tony?
I'm doing well. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I'm not doing that. Being a noob.
Like I told you, I done it to myself not that long ago on my own, so don't feel bad.
Waiting to hear when I'm supposed to come in.
How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. It's been a busy weekend, all that. Kid's birthday party on Saturday, and yeah, just busy week.
Life, right?
Yeah.
life can be cruel. Not going to be hard.
Right. The 20K thing was happening at the same time, so I was spending all day yesterday trying to get that all set up. And
That is so awesome. Congratulations to you, by the way.
thank you.
That is a huge milestone. How does it feel?
Just like yesterday. No different. Still the same awesome people, hanging out there. So.
And now you're on your way to 30K.
Yep.
Well, I don't.
I never actually got into it looking for numbers. I just literally was trying to separate it. Noticed that I was doing more RC videos on my personal photography channel than I was doing other videos, and I said I better separate this. That's the only reason I did it.
Really?
Just store it separately, yeah. So it just kind of happened, and then that took off, and the other one kind of stayed where it was, and just went from there.
Well, not only is it a lot of work to have two channels, but like you were telling me today, you even had three. That other one is kind of you're not putting as much into it right now. But
Right.
that much, were you running them all at the same time at one point?
It's usually been two at a time. The photography one's kind of taken a back seat a little bit. There's just so many out there that are so good that to jump in the mix when I don't have a lot of time, that I just kind of put the brakes on that for a little bit, so I can regather and figure out what I want to do with it. And literally just started as a personal one, kind of a personal travelogue. And from that, I had other things where I was putting the photos and the videos, but that was kind of just my behind the scenes travelogue.
I'm not showing your videos right now, but I'm showing some people from your 500 pics site.
Okay.
I mean, your photos are absolutely fantastic. I mean,
It's definitely National Geographic. That's what it reminds me for sure.
Well, thank you. It's a passion of mine. I got into the work I was doing because of video production, but there was a time there when I actually enjoyed photography more, and I'd have rather you know, the Canon 5D came out and changed everything. And so I bought one personally. I would carry it with me. And it really came down to that moment of, do I keep rolling video on this or do I take the picture?
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, I took the picture.
Wow.
And, like, you know, interrupted the B-roll that I was shooting, because the old Canon was great because the original Mark II, you could take a photo and you'd get a 3x2 image, and you know, everything. It did both video and photo at the same time.
Right.
And now they've kind of separated the cameras now, so you're either in video mode or photo mode. And so it's just, and if you take a picture in video mode, it's 16:9 crop. At least it was on the Mark III. So it made it harder to be that kind of just run and gun.
Sometimes the newer versions of equipment are not as good as the older ones.
Yeah, and I talked to them at NAB about it, and they're like, they swore up and down that, oh no, you can totally set that. And I said, all right, show me. I've been through every single piece of this camera looking for a way to make it shoot. You can literally see it in Lightroom come in as the full picture and then crop off the top.
Oh no! Oh my God!
But you're stealing it. But anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, that changed a little bit of the whether I take the photo or the video. I kind of might roll on video more in those moments then because of.
Definitely, but you have lots of amazing portraits as well.
Yeah, and that was the other reason, is a lot of times I chose to actually set up portraits in the end for storytelling instead of just trying to capture everything raw. But a lot of those portraits too, I'm not seeing them, but a lot of them are just moments that you take. You see it and you take the picture. Some of them look posed, but most of them aren't.
Right.
So there's one that I really like of a man that's sitting with a staff that's, I think, on there. And it's all, you know, there's a light from a door in front of him and a light from a window behind. And I literally saw him sitting there as we were doing a food distribution. And I just kind of crept around the back of the little room that he was sitting in. That's where all the food was being stored. And he was just came in and we let him sit down in the shade. And so I went around the back and I saw it and I took the picture. But once I did, everyone's like, hey, he's taking your picture. And then, like, he's posing. But the shot before, like, if you can get it in the moment before it's posed is when it actually looks the best, I find.
Yeah, I find that as a photographer, I love using zoom lenses for that, especially for that reason, because then people don't know that their picture is being taken per se right away. And you get to capture that natural expression without the posing. Yeah. What are you using for portraits?
I use a lot of times, because I do a lot of like the humanitarian style or journalism style, I guess, portraits, I would say. I usually am shooting either a 50 millimeter or at that time it was a 1.2. Now I have Fuji, so it's a 35, 1.4, or like a really wide, like a 16 to 35, 2.8. And I'll push into the 35 millimeter at a 2.8. And that gives a real great lifestyle perspective where you still get context. But the ones where the background is just gone, that's all with the 50 millimeter.
Okay. Amazing, guys. You got to check that out. There's all the social media links are in the description as well, separately for Tony's channels and social media and for CCRC channel. That's amazing. I see in the chat people are saying we didn't know that you also have photography. Yes, that's right, guys. Extremely talented photography.
It's just so fantastic. I mean,
yeah, most people don't even know that that's what I do for work from like my RC channel. That one's posed in a way. I had them all stand there, but that moment isn't. That was the lady started doing a little dance, and that was just the younger girl started laughing. But that whole thing was a posed kind of crop shot showing what they were able to grow with a water system that was brought in. And so that was in Kenya with the Maasai tribe.
That is worldwide magazine format. Like, that's headlines for great advertising. Some of the biggest advertisers get.
Oh, definitely. Like National Geographic definitely comes to mind. The National Geographic magazine for sure.
But especially the color you used onto it, because you went very high on the HDR onto it, and I love that because that gives it more of that glossy magazine, like the New Yorker, a very high end advertising on that one, and I love that. Usually that doesn't work so well. You really captured the moment, plus kept it very rich.
Yeah, and that one's very lightly edited, actually. So what I actually did was I had a flash that I had somebody carrying with them, and so, or with me, and I gave it to like our translator and had him hold it up. And so the light is behind them, the sun is setting, and I just crushed all of the stuff in camera to bring all the sky down and then I just lit them, because if I'd have taken it, they would have been completely dark.
Right.
But when I hit it with the flash, it gives it that lots of contrast, lots of color, and you are able to expose pretty much everything.
Phenomenal.
It's the contrast, because once again, usually if it's National Geographic, in most places shot in Africa, it's usually on the darker side. They do it to give that kind of more of a moodier shot, and this has such hope and brightness into it, and sharpness and crispness. And that's what's so cool about it, because you usually don't see these shots taken that way. I captivated.
There's laughter. There was a ton of really great shots from that group. I have moodier ones too. Some of them I've been working on something for my kids' school project. They have like where they bring in parents to do what your job is kind of a thing.
Right.
And so, I do have the moodier side of them too. Like this, where it's just a shadow, a beam of light coming through the wall of the house, a candle. And then literally I'm using a flashlight to light her in the front, because sometimes I travel too light and I don't bring gear because I can't bring flash. Where we were walking to would have been a pain, and we weren't expecting to have that moment, but we did go out and buy a flashlight, luckily, for doing some of the interior stuff in the houses. But
well, that's the thing about those moments. You never know, and when you forget something, you always have it. You always have the moment when you don't have the equipment. But it's amazing what you can do, and that's, I think, shows the true talent is not having all the equipment at hand, is to be able to do this kind of photography.
And
so much about a moment too, because this wasn't actually what we were setting up.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to have her looking like kind of toward us, but the second I saw her turn and look, it's about catching kind of a glance, or just that moment, and being aware that it's about to happen, or when it's happening, see it. I think it's being reactionary is so much of photography. I don't know if this one was on there on the last ones with this girl here.
Beautiful.
And the glance. But again, just a real moment where she was just adjusting, her veil and looked back, and you get that look with the eyes, and it's just I watch people's eyes. I think that's what intrigues me the most.
Right.
People are their eyes.
Well, that's what gives everybody's story away, is their eyes. I mean, it's the most basic human expression going. So and that sets the tone, the mood, everything. You can have them smiling, and if the eyes aren't agreeing with them, there's something completely different going on.
Yeah.
How do you get reading about you throughout your social media and your articles as well? I love that you're trying to capture people without disrupting their environment and their flow of life, which is kind of part of, I would assume, humanitarian photography. What is exactly humanitarian photography, and how do you get to do that, to get the portraits of these people that most of the time either are not in the position to have pictures taken, like after hurricanes or things like that, or just are not used to be taking pictures?
That's the hardest part, is especially like if you're in a first world country and you're taking the photos, it's a lot different for some reason. People their guards are up a whole lot more to you being there. You're like the most hated person kind of in the room sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
And so the main thing is you don't come in guns a-blazing, like, because it's not about me. And that's the thing that I work to try and tell people and work with people, is so many people want to go because they want to take the best photograph, and they want to talk about, look what I did. And it's really not about whether or not I get a good photograph. It's whether or not I can tell their story well. Mm-hmm. So the mindset is always about them and their story and preserving their dignity. And so when I go into those situations like disaster, those are the hardest.
Right.
And so I don't go in with my camera out.
Yeah.
So I go in and I start talking with them and building a relationship with them. And then I slowly introduce the camera once I know that they're comfortable with me, and I start saying, you know, I want to take some photos, kind of help tell your story, what you're going through, so that we can help you out and help the people in this community out. And so, but you're also always going a lot of times with a group that's doing something, and so you have that. They're already happy that you're there, you know, so there's already a little bit of relief, I think, that they're going through. And so it's still really, you know, they've been overwhelmed for days. Now they're starting to see, you know, maybe we can get through this. You know, what seemed overwhelming for one person when you bring in like 30 people and they got a house in like half a day, it's amazing. So
Well,
yeah, it's definitely, there's, you know, I try not to steal photographs. I try to, I say that, I use that terminology. That's something I always say in the work setting, is about not stealing their photo, because it's their story. It's about telling their story. And so if they're engaged with you, it's a lot of times it's better. Because it's not necessarily journalism. It isn't. Because you're given special access to people already that, you know, news might not get, you know, because we're doing something to help them. There's a benefit that they're receiving. So it's done in a little bit different way than straight up journalism, where they're capturing the news of what's happening.
Laj had asked a very interesting question that ties into this, is how do you secure yourself in some of these areas? You know, like what's the precautions you guys take, or the steps you do to ensure your security when traveling abroad in these areas?
I carry a shiv in the back of my camera bag.
Wow.
Sometimes. But yeah, I mean, like sometimes I'll buy like one of just the local knives or whatever and keep it in the little back. You know, camera bags have that part to put a belt through or whatever. A lot of times I'll just slide it in there. My donkey bag has a little part in the back. That was more like, so we were doing the Civil War in Mali. We were there when the French troops were there in Mali, and that was super sketch, and our car kept breaking down. So here I am, you know, American guy with thousands of dollars of camera equipment, stuck on the side of a road, kind of in the in-between zone. And so I was just ready to like be diving into the bush and hiding, you know. But there's certain times, you know, you just pray.
It's gotta be.
Go and do it because you're trying to help people. So I wouldn't, you know, I turned down some war zone stuff. This one was kind of, it was still sketchy because they were kidnapping journalists and people.
Exactly.
And same with, I was just in Niger, we call it here. And on our trip there, as we were going, they were saying how 7 people had just been kidnapped and taken across the border into Mali. Wow. And so on that trip, we had an armed escort of 10 soldiers in the back of a truck, always out like with, you know, machine guns and all that. And we weren't allowed to stay anywhere for more than 15 minutes. That's where that picture of that man was taken in that thing. But we could only be there 15 minutes because if we were there longer than that, by the time that people saw us on the road and called, they could call somebody in to let them know where we were. But if we were always moving every 15 minutes, by the time the call made it, they wouldn't be able to really track us. So we were always one step ahead.
Have you ever come to like close to being in a very
sketchy
situation? Like, I mean, it's always in the back of your mind, obviously, as you just was saying, but to actually like almost happening to somebody that is there.
There was, yeah. I mean, we were stuck in Haiti during the riots after the earthquake and cholera, and so we literally got holed up at an orphanage for 2 days. Had to get up in the middle of the night at like 4 a.m. because we figured that the people were tired from rioting and, you know, lighting cars on fire and all that by about 3. We were hoping.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So we just got up and went into town, and they'd been moved. All the people in town had to re-shelter in a hospital, and then we took an ambulance because they weren't attacking the ambulances, and so we took an ambulance to an airport, like a secondary airport, and we took like a DC-9, you know, a prop plane out. Like it was like MFI, like Mission Flight International or something, was taking people out. And so we were able to get onto that flight. And That was really cool. It was like Indiana Jones-ish on the plane.
I can imagine.
One man as like the the air conditioning system. And the rest was all cargo in the back. And
Oh my God.
I mean, there's some sketchy. We went into Ukraine during the like conflict, they called it, I guess.
Yeah.
And so that was probably one of the sketchier ones because we were driving. We've been told everything's cool, everything's safe, but we're driving in, and our guy goes to put his seatbelt on. We'd already been told we can't take anything but cell phones because both sides would take your stuff. Like whether you run into the Ukrainian forces or the separatists, which the pro-Russian side, either ones would take your stuff. So all we took was cell phones and a passport. And we shot everything on our cell phones. It was really great. I mean, the iPhone, I think it was 6 Plus back then that did it. It was awesome. It worked so well. And we were able to get fantastic shots and video. But as we're going in, he's going to buckle in. And our guide, the driver said something to our translator. And the translator's like, do not be putting on the seatbelts because if bombing, you need to run. Like, you're like, huh?
Oh, wow.
So we're driving and you see like these blown up cars on the side of the road and you're like, oh man, what are we getting into here?
Oh my God.
You're passing tanks as you're driving, all bunkered up, and they're all looking with like binoculars and whatnot at the other side, because they're just throwing bombs at each other. And we went into bomb shelters to deliver food and oil and different things that they needed to stay warm. It was cold there at the time when we went, so. That was probably the sketchiest because I just told my wife we weren't anywhere near the conflict zone. We were dealing with the refugees coming into the city, and then we get on a train and then we're like, hey, let's go into the zone. We didn't say that, but the people said, hey, these people need help. Can you do something? So we went.
That's unbelievable. And what did your family think of it? How were they with all of it?
I didn't tell them until after. So
what? But not are they? Do they sometimes try to talk you out of going on new places and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, even myself, it's getting so sketchy around the world these days that any travel gets a little bit.
Yes.
Gets my heart pounded a little bit, and I don't like flying either. So that's
really.
And flights like 13 hours almost, something like that. Atlanta to Tokyo.
You really are Indiana Jones type of thing. I think more and more I'm seeing the similarities into it.
Well, you do it because you have to, but like when you're flying over the North Pole or whatever, you're realizing if it goes down, there's nothing anyone can do. Like, I know they try and stay along land and stuff as long as they can, but yeah, I don't know. I just try not to think and just watch movies on a plane, and before you know it, you're there. So.
Where do these pictures afterwards? You take the pictures or the video, and what happens with them after? What is the way of?
So I would take them back down. Like there's a couple of them if you went on my personal page, like that that were for Operation Blessing, that were linked. Those are actually on their channels. Like one of them, we did a show called Clearing Customs. It was like a 15-minute thing that I hosted. Through Guatemala, looking at the volcanoes and how the eruptions impacted some of the people, some of the techniques that Operation Blessing was doing to do like raised bed farming so that they could get everything off the ground and, put in their own soil. And they were covered so that they could limit the amount of water that they got. And everything was able to be more precise and grow better vegetables. And so we were talking about some of that after they lost all their crops and stuff from the volcano eruption and the houses and stuff like that. But it's a whole, it's almost like Anthony Bourdain meets Vice meets some other travel show. It's kind of like starting with the travel show, the interest of the area that you're in. Because a lot of times you go to these cool places and there's just so much neat stuff there to tell people about. That's part of everyone's story, where they live. And how do you do that? Like, we're just throwing away all this awesome stuff from like the cities and volcanoes, and like, how do we incorporate into a storytelling? So we were coming up with some of those. But yeah, most of it was used through fundraising. I did a couple rain catchers company. I was asked to be in Nebraska this coming week to deal with the flood stuff, but I'm just so busy with the Japan trip that I have scheduled that I couldn't do it. So we're still like last minute planning all the details of some of the stories we're going to get there.
So your next location is Japan?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm freelance now. I was actually for 9 years working for Operation Blessing, and that's how I was traveling, doing all of that. So going back to what you asked originally, which I didn't answer specifically, is how do you do that and how do you get that access? And it's really through being with an organization that's working in a community.
Mm-hmm.
There you're in, like, because for me, it's more interesting to go in. Like now I've traveled so much that if I would travel, I want to be with somebody that's going to get me into the local places and meet the local people and not just see, from a tour guide stand, follow a tour guide around. I want to like go and meet the locals, find out what the local flavor is and the people. And so that's what I was doing. But now, about a year and a half ago, I quit there. And so now I'm doing it freelance. And I've done some more freelance with them as well. But right now I'm working on a project with a TV station called TBN. And they're working on something they're calling State of Faith, which are literally just kind of documenting the spread of Christianity around the world. And so that's kind of where we're going to Japan, where it's like 0.5% of Japan is Christian, but there's also some like persecution and martyrdom of Catholics and just some interesting stuff. I was just telling Andrew that we were in Latvia.
Yes.
Yes, I didn't notice that in doing the research. I was like, oh my God. Wow, that's so cool.
To meet with the old archbishop there as we were doing this and telling their story of, going through the history of what was going on with the revolution and yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. For those in the chat that don't know, I'm originally from Latvia. That's my homeland. It's a northeastern Europe, ex-Soviet country, and usually you don't hear too many people have visited that area. So I was very surprised, and that's amazing. And so you guys were doing a documentary about the churches and religion.
Yep, in Latvia, yeah. So
Wow.
we met with all different people from the Catholic Church to. There's a huge, I guess, event there that was taking place. I can't think of the name of it at the moment.
What time of the year were you there?
September.
Yeah, probably Independence Day, I would assume.
It was the something Europe. I'm totally blanking on it.
Yeah, see, I'm so I'm so distant from it now too. I only know
There was thousands and thousands of people filling up the arena there, like the hockey arena.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was packed out for this one event. So we were there interviewing them, and then we were also interviewing the Catholics. We were trying to really get kind of a broad spectrum of, the religion in the country. So, yeah, it was fascinating. And we went down to Lithuania because just across the border, there's a place called the Hill of Crosses.
Yes. We've been there with the kids.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. Kind of creepy, but cool. Like,
it is. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Don't go there at dark, probably. Like,
yeah, it's a hill full of crosses of different sizes and shapes, and it has been there forever.
Yeah, I think I have some drone footage from there on my Instagram.
That's amazing. Yeah, and Lithuania, I think, is even more religious, inclined than Latvia. So it's definitely great that you visited that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the channel name.
Yeah, people have been asking for your channel name. They want to check you out, so we're just gonna paste that in there. Karen Sommers, you have a really great night over there in the Netherlands. Hope you have. Thank you so much for joining us.
Karen Sommers, by the way, asked, "How are you communicating with people when you are traveling? Because obviously, not most of them actually are not talking in English, including Latvia. But how do you communicate? Do you have a guide? Do you have a translator?"
Yeah, everywhere we go, we have a guide.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer that when we go, we have somebody that'll actually like pick us up from the airport, and they're like gonna drive us wherever we need to go, and keep us from going into places we shouldn't go. Also, just kind of give us a little bit of extra history and explain to us stuff just as we're driving, just to give us context. Because I mean, it's so beneficial that just having that ability as you're driving to just sit and talk. Hey, what's that thing over there? Or or what's the significance of this in the country? And so you're learning all this stuff as you're going to meet these people, but it also a lot of times ends up playing into whatever story you're telling, because you're like, wow, I had no idea that they went through that, or So yeah, we always try and have a local that can translate. And when you go into places like the Maasai village, you'll have two translators. So one that can translate to English, and the one that can translate to whatever native tongues are being spoken by different tribes.
Right.
So interviews take forever.
I can imagine. It's like a bad game of telephone going with that.
Yeah, by the time you're done, you're like, are we sure that's what he said? Ask again. That doesn't sound right.
It's got to be a labor of love. It has to be.
Yeah.
But an amazing one.
We with translations when we can, in that, where we'll just sit down with a voice recorder and go back through the interview and have them just kind of narrate it for us, so that we can have a pretty decent translation, because you want to be accurate.
Well, definitely. But I mean, your photos are unbelievable. They really are.
I wanted to ask you something, and something that I think we were watching, and it was interesting. You probably have heard about the National Geographic girl, the iconic picture on the cover of National Geographic in '90s that was captured. Sorry?
The girl with the eyes, the green eyes?
Yeah.
Yes, and we were watching the video of, by Tony Northrup. That's somebody that we follow a lot as photographer. And he was telling the actual story behind the picture. I posted the link in the chat for those.
How it was touched up in editing? That one?
Yeah, and also how he actually posed her and captured the picture without her permission. In the times where she was actually forbidden to take any pictures, and didn't tell her story at all, and just basically used the picture to gain fame, because that's his almost the only most famous picture that ever been coming from him. What do you think about that? How does it play out?
That's what I was talking about. We talk a lot, in the industry about poverty tourism and different things like that, and how do you ethically. It is different for me because I have a different, being humanitarian in the reason of the work that I'm doing, versus a journalist who, they do just come up and snap pictures as a journalist,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit different. But the NPPA, News Photographer Association, has, or whatever the News Photographers Association has kind of guidelines and stipulations for ethics and editing and not editing. I was part of that, but it really didn't apply to me because I wasn't really doing news stories. Mine were literally, they're fundraising off of these stories because they're trying to help these groups.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the people know they're receiving help, and they're being told, we're doing this to be able to help fund the program. So if you want to share your story, then people are more likely to help support you if they know a little bit about you, because people like to help people, right? People don't necessarily want to just fund a project. They want to help somebody else.
Right.
So I was thinking about it because I'd taken this photo at one point where her eyes was kind of doing the same.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Where she just kind of, that stunned look into your camera. When I took this, it reminded me of that in some ways. And that one was taken in Niger, but I had permission to take the photo.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful photo.
That is gorgeous. That's beautiful.
But a lot of times I'll kind of motion like, is this okay if I can't communicate? If somebody says no, if you're doing it in just a raw, everything's happening and you're, so like Haiti after the earthquake, it's news style, like you're just taking pictures of what's going on.
Yes.
And people say no, like it's like, well, it's not my story to tell. It's your story, necessarily. But there's still like, at that point, it's also different because you're just telling the story of what happened, and that person might be in the scene, and it's not about them. They can't tell that you have a wide angle lens on. And so I might still use that photo if they're just kind of a small part of a group. It's not about them. It's about something else to the side. But for the most part, I try and be respectful. And in the U.S., it gets even harder, like when we're doing stories of, need in the U.S. There's, you feel more awkward doing any of it anyway.
Right.
sensitivity.
For sure, but then you're telling the story of the whole event happening and not the single person, so it's definitely different for sure. Let's jump to your other passion.
Yes.
Your RC enthusiasm that you do together with your family.
Yes, I do some. They're not as into it as I thought they would be. You know, all their friends are more into it. But, you know, I got into it while I was working and doing what I was doing. I felt like when I was doing the channel and I was working and I was doing a YouTube about what I was already doing for work, you know, my hobby had become my work, and I wanted a different escape, basically, is what it came down to. And I used to race BMX, and we moved into a house where there were all these BMX jumps. And I got my bike from Michigan, where I grew up, and brought it down, and I pulled my neck. And so then I couldn't carry my camera bag on these trips, so I had to go mirrorless for like 2 trips, I think. And I realized I'm too old for this. I got a job. I can't be doing this. But these toy cars could do it. I remember people bringing them to the BMX tracks and jumping them, so I went looking for them. And I found a shop just up the road, actually, that I didn't know was there, Debbie's RC World. And I thought it was a BMX track, actually, because they were outside running and jumping these tracks. I'm like, wow, that's cool. And so I actually went there with the thought of looking for something I could do my bike on. And I found this, and I ended up finally, after I got like Employee of the Month or something and got a little bonus, was able to get permission to buy one.
Well, that's the thing. And I mean, we were talking about your photography and skills at the beginning, and then of course your videos, videography. And I mean, it all comes together once again in this passion, man. I was watching it today, getting ready, as putting in the background, and I've seen people saying, I forget who it was at the beginning, because of the pre-chat, I seen somebody saying, well, I thought it was RC cars, but that looks like a real Jeep. I'm not sure. And I mean, that's your photo. That speaks for your quality of what you got going on. And that was actually a screenshot taken out, which was so amazing.
Which I do a lot. It's funny because now video has become my passion again.
Right.
And so it's probably through the RC and through YouTube that I've really jumped back into video instead of photos. And so I've got actually ideas that I'm looking to start. I've got somebody that I'm working. I had just flown in or rented a camera because I'm looking for what I want to buy to do this project. But I want to start interviewing RCers, like high quality stuff, like what I do for TV, but for like RC community interviews, and the slow motion and everything going into it, and maybe gimbals and all that, but just really doing the production up. Where if I'm doing interviews and doing somebody else's story, I can do that. It's really hard to film yourself and film the cars while you're driving them, and which I do, you know, because I like the filming and all that. But a lot of times I'm like holding a selfie stick, or I put my tripod under my arm a lot of times too, so it sticks out, and I kind of rest it on my forearm. I don't have it there anymore. If I'll back up, so it'll be coming out. I don't have anything. But the tripod will go in through my arm and rest across here while I'm driving here, and I'll just kind of move my body to follow the car.
Wow.
I don't know how you do it.
If I want to use the bigger camera, you know.
Wow.
But you have to autofocus it all at that point, and yeah.
That's crazy.
But, so I got into it through that, and then, you know, just started making videos because I wanted some fun videos to just make. I love making videos anyway. I do it for work. But it's kind of a creative outlet because it becomes formulaic if you know, I'm doing the same humanitarian stories all the time. And so I've got like this, you know, basic idea of what I do every story. When I got into this, I could do anything I wanted, you know, and high, you know, more like music video and high energy. And so I really got into it, and that's what the channel is birthed out of. And I've told it a couple times on my channel that I'd asked my wife if I could build a jump in the backyard just for my car while she was gone on a vacation, and I ended up building like 4 jumps once I got permission. And I'm like, okay, she's coming home. I'm gonna get it. And so I made a sign that I put on the fence that was the logo. You know, I just spray painted this onto a little board thing that I made and painted black, and spray painted a little car and, you know, the logo. And that's what I was born on. If it's supposed to be, my last name is Cece, and then it's gonna be RC, so like CCRC Roadway. And
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you because Xenia said something tonight, and I want to know. And she was talking about them and the remote controls, and she used the word toys. And right after she said, "Oh, I better not say that. It could get me in trouble." So
I'm one that says they're all toys. And everybody's like, "Man, that was toy grade." And like, they're all toys. What are you talking about? One's just like a better toy than the other. Buy like hobby parts, but it's still a toy, you know, hobby grade toy or like toy grade toy. They're all toys in my opinion. But
toys means you're having fun with them.
I'm a Toys R Us kid. That's my generation. So
very true.
Grow up, right?
I like that.
We play with toys.
Oh, that's good then, because I wasn't sure, you know.
Now, some people wouldn't let you call it a toy. Some might be offended by that. I mean, with the amount of money that they've got into them.
Yeah, well, that's one difference between the toys, I think, that you get a lot of money to pay for it, for sure.
Well, I mean, whether it's photography or it's, you know, people that get on me in the photography industry, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much like it's a hobby. If you're not doing it for work and you've got that big of a camera and you're laughing at me for these things, you know, how often are you getting your little toy camera out and going and taking pictures? We're using these every day, you know, so
yeah,
the money's there. Everyone gets to choose what they want to spend their money on.
It's amazing when that thing's spinning around that it's not destroyed. Oh, we're getting some echo on your side, by the way. I didn't know there. Yeah, I think it's good now.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. A little bit, but almost. It's a way better than me.
I could put headphones in.
Unfortunately, yeah, that seems to be the usual status quo for these things. But we didn't have any when we tried it today, so we tried to go without whenever possible. Guys, you really have to check his channel out. So much going on into it. Well, both channels, cannot stress it enough. Two fantastic channels. One dedicated to RC racing, as you see here, and the other one, of course, to his videography and photography. And he is just talented and then some. So,
and definitely, guys, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Put @Push Studios or #Push Studios. So I can see it, and we'll definitely ask it to our guest.
Can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, I forgot that in this you have to change over the system inside of the software. It's pretty cool, actually. But yeah, so that's how I got into it, and then from there, once I started doing the YouTube thing, and at that time, Google Plus was cool, like for RC.
Right.
I think it was the only hobby or anything that Google Plus was like cool for. It actually really worked well, and then they started messing with it in YouTube because you could post anytime you liked a video on YouTube, it could automatically post it over to Google Plus if you wanted.
Right.
So you could be sharing, and any comment you made could be posted here. And then they kind of destroyed that integration of the two and just kept breaking it down further and further. But the groups in there and all that, I found still work better than groups or pages in Facebook do. For almost like a forum, like because I'm not big into forums. I have it's too many words in a forum for me.
Right, I hear you.
I'd rather go to YouTube and watch a video for 15 minutes, even though I could probably find it in the words in about 5 or half the time. I'd rather watch the video, and so the same with Google Plus is much more visual, but things were able to stay kind of organized in a way that worked well. But yeah, so that's how I got to know everybody and started growing the channel, because it's really hard. So one of the best things about YouTube is that anybody can do it, and one of the worst things about YouTube is that anybody can do it. And so YouTube does a really good job of feeding you stuff that's good, but their analytics don't base it on whether they can tell that you are actually a very good and informative filmmaker that has really high quality videos. It really comes down to watch time, view counts, likes, all, their whole algorithm that they use. And so it's really hard to break into it.
Yes.
And but through the Google Plus community and the groups in there, and then everybody kind of making like a community, and it helped build up that first couple hundred, way quicker than my other YouTube channel did. Because I've had that one for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 11, and it still has like 900 followers on it, on my photography one.
Yeah, you're nearing 1,000. Where are you guys jumping from G Plus now, since it's closing?
Instagram, which doesn't work well because the threads just go, and finding comments and stuff in there is so hard. I mean, a lot of people have gone over to Facebook pages and groups, and so that's kind of where it is. And I did a page way back before any of it happened, but a group's probably would have been better because it's much more of a community than a page. I was just using it as a place to kind of dump stuff. It's kind of old school thinking as far as website or whatever. But yeah, so now I'm a part of a bunch of groups, but I don't run any groups. But I definitely am in on, like, there's Solid Axle Monster Mayhem is one of them that I'd like to participate in. It's about like monster trucks, RC monster trucks that are all solid axle style. And so that's what I've got a bunch of here, and kind of where my passion is these days with them. But yeah, so it's been, once it gets going though on YouTube, it seems like it also exponentially everything starts to grow, you know, like once you hit 1,000, it might take a while to get there, but getting to the next 1,000 is much faster for whatever reason, because of, I think, going into the algorithms and all that. Again, your videos are getting pushed more. People also feel more comfortable or confident in subscribing to you because there's 1,000 other people that have already done it. And it just, I don't know, it seems like it kind of climbs a little bit faster once you make a couple of those thresholds. If you're putting in and you're part of the community and you're consistent. And so I think my photography one cut out because it hasn't been consistent. I was also not very comfortable on camera at that point either. So a lot of those videos are older, and I still wasn't confident doing it. And it's just been through, I've made now 526 videos of the last one. Because I organize now, because I was telling you, I don't organize my pictures in the beginning, but I do everything now organized. You know, everyone gets a, CCXRC, then a number. And so they're all, then when I put them into hard drives, it's sequential, and, then whatever the name of the video is. But so I know that was the 526 video that I've shot for the channel. They may not all get edited, but most of them do, probably 98% of them. So,
well, they're amazing. We were talking in the chat about how amazing the cinematics is, and I was laughing that you could probably make a toilet paper look good.
Yeah.
But it's like, just when somebody have a great talent and an eye to capture, I think it doesn't really matter at the end what the object is to tell the story anyway, whatever the object you're filming or taking a picture of. And it truly looks terrific, no matter if we look at the pictures, from different parts of the world, or your RC film here. It's amazing. It's a true different level for sure.
Yeah, I've actually been very surprised. There's a lot of people in the RC that take really awesome pictures of their cars. And I've been shocked by how many talented photographers there are as I'm going through my Instagram feed. And so that's pretty fantastic. I laugh sometimes because everyone's like, wow, that was really great. But half the time I'm thinking, I cheated everything just for time. Like, it's not like work when I go out and we have crews and we're, spending time setting up every shot. And like when we're making these RC videos, it's like shoot it the same day as you edit it. Like go out for half an hour, run the thing, just film video. And you hope you get it because you can't watch it, what you're shooting. You just kind of know what you're trying to capture and the motion, and then just kind of throwing it together. But it's not, it's not nearly the same. If I could sit and film other people running their cars, those videos would be completely different than trying to do it all. And so it's kind of funny, but half the time I wish I could do it better. But I don't want to give up the driving the car part either, because I love.
I was going to say that's what I figured.
So it's like. I'll do both, and most of the time I can't find people like, oh, again, that's like why I can't keep my hands are so shaky. I'm like, all right, you'll be able to do it, and then you get it back and you're like, nope, your hands really are shaky, and you miss the car half the time. But it's funny. So I show up to races and they laugh at me because I'll wear like a GoPro on my hat, or I'll actually, if it's the slower cars, I'll run my selfie stick in my hand that I'm holding the controller with, just so I can film myself. Because I film everybody else, but I want to make sure I can get some of my stuff.
Well, that's dedication. That's what that should be. That's like nothing but total props to you for pulling that one off.
Midlife RC says Tony can crash like a pro.
I can. I know how to break. I know how to break toys.
I've seen the jumps. Like, I don't know how they stay together through most of it. I can't figure how plastic can bear that. It's unbelievable.
Everybody wants metal. I want plastic because it just breaks instead of bends. And
So you want it to break?
Well, no, it'll flex and go back to the normal size until the break point.
Right.
But those same crashes that didn't break the plastic would have bent the aluminum. And so I find that the plastic's actually better because it flexes and doesn't snap. I mean, there's at some point when you crash as hard as I do, they're going to break no matter what. But half the time it's just because the approaches are for BMX tires, so you only need to have them like a foot wide, 2.5 foot wide. But you try and get those cars lined up for that, and it's not straight. They're running two wheels that are thin and can kind of handle and stay straight through that. You catch those things just right. Half the jumps I have to try like 15 times to even get it lined up because you hit something on the way and it turns sideways and goes into the trees. So it can be frustrating to try and film. It's like, take 15.
I showed so many of the jumps a while ago, and I should be showing what you're talking, but I wanted to show everybody. I love these camera angles. That's too what I was looking at today. That realistic, like low off the ground. And are you shooting that with what lens are you shooting that with?
The which one?
It was camping trip trail crawl part 1.
Oh, camping trip. So for my RC stuff, people laugh a lot of times when I tell them what camera is. Probably one of my favorite cameras, and I'm actually thinking about getting. It's actually on my slider here. Let me grab it.
Sure. It is cool, Biano. I agree too. It's the angle. It gives such a lifelike.
Look, they even have the little figures in the cars.
Xenia once again brings.
No, I know that saying "oh, how cute" is probably not what they want to hear, but it is.
Do you notice all the roof luggage up on top?
I see that. Yeah. I love all the details. It's like the boys. Mom always said not to break the toys, and now you guys can officially go and break them.
Okay, so that's all shot with the iPhone. I'm watching.
Wow.
That is the iPhone?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, the shots are amazing. They really are. It's the perspective.
So it's just a selfie stick to get it low to the ground. So that's the coolest thing about trail running is you can literally just hold the controller and then have the selfie stick, in your hand coming through down to the ground, and you can just walk with it and keep it low and get that kind of real life perspective. If it's scale, you'd be shooting it down that low instead of standing upright and shooting it from your chest. It just doesn't feel natural. It's almost like a drone shot,
Yeah, exactly. At that perspective, that's what's so cool about it.
Yeah, but the other camera I do use for a lot of them is I have this bridge camera, which is just a Panasonic FZ1000 or FZ1000, right? That would be Z.
We are all good.
But so it's basically a 25 to 400 zoom lens, all in one, so I don't have to carry a bunch of lenses with me out to the trail. But it has all the functionality of a DSLR. They call them a bridge camera. So it's the bridge between like the compacts and the mirrorless, I guess, cameras.
That's awesome.
So
that's cool.
It's almost like a GH5-ish.
Yeah.
Shoots 4K, shoots slow motion, and it's the only thing that I wish that it had was it's got a variable f-stop at the bottom end.
Okay.
And Sony makes one that it's a 2.8 through the whole zoom. That's the only thing I wish that it had.
How old is that camera?
That one is, well, they've got an FZ2500 out now.
Right.
So that one's 4 years old now.
That's interesting. Yeah, it was because it's really in the hybrid stage. I don't really follow Panasonic a whole. I mean, it's not that I have any problem with them. You can just only learn so much about everything. And we definitely are not masters of it by any sense of the word. So that's why I was curious. But that's an interesting setup, though, nonetheless.
I don't like Panasonic for photos. So at work, the camera that I get when I go out on these shoots for the TBN is it's a GH5S.
Right.
Awesome video camera. Awesome. Don't like taking pictures with it. I don't feel like I can get. It's a micro four third, and it's just you don't get any depth of field, even with the 2.8 lenses that come with it. And so it's a struggle there. But as far as the video features that it has are fantastic. The buttons, the dials, everything's laid out amazingly. It just, they have a full frame coming. I'm interested to see what it's going to be like. But I have all Fuji lenses, so it'd be hard for me to make the jump personally.
Yes, definitely.
So I keep waiting for that perfect Fuji for video. XH1 is close, but it doesn't have a flippy screen. It tilts, but it doesn't flip out. And so for YouTube, that's kind of...
Isn't that the most frustrating thing about cameras in general? That it just seems like everybody's got all these good things and all these different models of them, but they can never seem to get them on one model. And there's certain things like you really couldn't have migrated that over or come up with a
I
version.
like my Sony. I'm not complaining.
Does it have a flippy screen?
Yeah.
It does? Which one do you have?
6,000.
So it flips all the way up.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you can go put it upside down, yes. But you can't
But
do
can
it sideways.
you see yourself? It does sideways?
No, it doesn't go sideways.
So you can't film yourself?
No. But that's okay.
Well, Steve, when I'm studying up for myself on YouTube, and so I shoot everything with this one on a tripod and a microphone. It has a mic input, which I liked about it too. So I do allow mics to make everything sound better because sound's so important with video, right?
Yes,
It
definitely.
makes such a big difference. That's why we have these things, right? Even for like web chats. And so, even for recording the cars, I use this Sennheiser microphone. If I'm going to do a vlog thing, I'll hold this out at arm's length and talk to it here. But I can see myself to make sure that I'm in the frame because it has a flip out screen.
Right, yes. Well, see, Andrew does more of a video and I'm more in the photo, so that's why for me it wasn't the main thing to look for.
Right. But you have two people too, so you can kind of set it up and but it's like little to me. So I was doing this XH1 the other night over here. So my studio's over here. There's a tripod. And I have to go and hit record, run around the table, sit down, pretend like I'm talking, get back up, go around. Oh man, too much headroom. Tilt it down a little bit, hit record, run around the table, sit down, go back around, hit play, and see, okay, finally. But it's like, 10 minutes later you're filming instead of, like you can see yourself with the flip out screen. But I solved that problem. I ordered an Atomos Ninja, the new one, the 5. And so I'll be able to see myself with any camera.
That'll definitely, that's a plus. that is, yes.
That'll game change it.
But it's just too bad it's such a workaround to do it.
Yeah. Do you guys follow camera conspiracies?
Yeah, just in the chat talking about it.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it. No, I can definitely
Oh my
go check it out.
gosh, the flippy screen one is it's one of the best videos on the internet. That one and the microphone one that he does about the boom mic, I was literally crying when he had the boom mic come in instead of the one on his shirt. And he's like, see, now you can't see the mic. And it's like right here in front of his forehead. Like it had dropped into the frame. Oh gosh, I lost it. That guy is genius.
Yes, I love what I see. Definitely. Thank you so much for suggestion. We'll definitely have to check it out.
He was caught in a bit of a mess.
Vegetable police.
I found him from Tony and Chelsea. They were talking about him. There was some sort of mess between him and another YouTuber. This was like almost a year ago or 6 months ago.
I'm sure he gets on people people get angry with him, but as long as he's not making fun of me, it's hilarious to watch.
Oh, definitely. It looks amazing. Thank you for suggestion. Definitely check it out. I've
been sending it to people.
Thank you. Annette Cruiser, thank you so much too. Sarah was asking, do you have any advice for people starting out on YouTube on anything to do with cameras? What it would be? What it would be to start with, or what kind of good cameras, but not expensive ones for starters, would be good for people. Yeah.
Your phone. So you could use an Android. You could use. I use an iPhone. In fact, I kept my iPhone. I have 3 iPhones now. I kept my wife's. I kept mine, and I got my new one. And because my new one doesn't have a lot of storage on it, so I fill it up too fast doing video. But the other one that I had was like 128 gigs. And so I use it as a camera. So, you know, I got a microphone for it. I think it's a Shure MV. It's the Motive 88, I think is what it is. And it's a little one that just plugs into the bottom of it. So you get really great audio from your phone for doing like selfie interview type stuff, or if you want to put it whatever. And so when I go out and I shoot the videos at that park, I'm using my iPhone with that little adapter, and I'm shooting it usually 720 because that's what the front facing camera is, so I can see myself. And then because I end up covering it up and it's not that the most important part of the video, it doesn't matter. But I want good audio, and I want then to just shoot the rest of it on my phone where I can move it around, because I was doing the tripod and like this FZ1000, but it just feels stale after a while. So I want like movement to the camera and like energy added to it. And so I started using my phone and a selfie stick and just keeping it low to the ground and tracking the car and chasing it, running after it. But I, you know, even with the nicer cameras, I find less is more, because what you're trying to get is unique angles and perspectives. And most people don't know or care what camera you're using. They just want a cool looking video, right?
Yes.
So.
Well, that's the thing, exactly. And lots of people are purchasing the very expensive ones and don't know what to do with them at the end anyway. So there's no point of that.
And the iPhones do so good at saving the sky and doing so many things that the exposure on them is so good half the time at auto that it's just that's my go-to for a lot of things. Now you can see that the detail isn't there. Like if you put the same, if I cut between the two, you can tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter. As long as the shot's cool enough, people don't care that it's a little bit.
Does the iPhone shoot RAW for photography?
No. So, but it does that blur thing now. So half the time I hit the portrait mode on the iPhone, and it does like the blurred, you know, portraits.
Okay.
And so I've got like really cool looking portraits that people don't even know are taken with a phone, and I don't tell them, you know. But it's kind of funny.
But that's the thing that gets lost in the morning. That's the thing that people are starting to lose now, I find, is that idea that the shot, and it's good that the stigma is coming off a bit, that people can realize now you don't need to spend $20,000 to do an impressive job.
Yeah, it's not about the gear, right?
Yeah, but it's working in stages, but some other parts too, because YouTubers now are using $10,000 worth of glass every time they walk out the door. It's like years ago when I played guitar, in bands, unless you spend $4,000 on a guitar, you just weren't going to sound like them. And that's simply not the case. A lot of new products they're buying, and they're like, oh, well, you know, I got to follow Peter. And I love Peter McKinnon, but a great example. Getting a new Canon, but they spend 5 months on a learning curve trying to learn how to shoot properly with it, and end up shooting mostly automatic because it's just too much work.
Yeah, like this one right here. I don't know if I can get in there and show you, but there's a glare. But it has the depth and everything of just a full-on portrait out in out on the street. And, you know, nobody would know that it was just taken with an iPhone. But I do it all the time. And I just, again, you just don't tell anybody. And they don't. Here's another, like, example of my son.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
But again, if you know the rules and the techniques, it shouldn't matter what camera you have in your hands.
Right.
But the blur, the separation that they can do is part of what helps. And that didn't focus, I didn't realize. But yeah, and so being able to now get that kind of separation and make your subject stand out with your phone is game changing.
Right.
So if they can bring that to video, you know, like mind blown. Mm-hmm. But you know, I find that I can actually take better landscape portraits with my phone than I can with my big cameras, any of them. I'm doing a scenic outside. The iPhone somehow, not even in HDR mode, exposes it better somehow for me. I just find that I just like my landscape shots with my phone. I like the colors it gets. I like the detail.
Now, when you're in your photographer circle, whether talking to them in person or through Discord, whichever way you're talking to them, how do they feel about your views on that?
They don't like it.
That's what I figured.
I don't care. They can't tell. Like when I have them printed out, they wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like wine testing. You know, there's a lot of snobbiness comes with the thing, and if you put the samples in front of them, a lot of times they don't pass the test.
right. Well, even Peter McKinnon just did that one where they were testing the shots of that he took with his Samsung and with his Canon or Sony or whatever it was. He'd done like a Samsung phone, and but that was all about like the depth of field shots even, and it's still, you know, the guy got like, you know, 3 out of 5 right or something. He got more right, but still, like when you're looking at him, you're like, man, those are sexy shots regardless if you can tell what it's shot on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yep. I shoot everything on a DJI Osmo, the original Osmo. I'm even doing weddings, corporate events with it.
Yeah.
It's not a fast camera. That's the only problem with it. That's why I'm making changes.
Right.
But it became so popular with this washed out look that I kind of went back more to the 80s style. I like bringing up the levels a bit on the blacks, playing with the richness and keeping the broadcasting guidelines around, you know, and it helps you stand out from the crowd. It gives you mood from it, and nobody's looking that you can't make out an individual little It's too crisp sometimes today. Crisp is great.
Yep.
But Chris kills it.
It's fantastic. And that new little one that they've got is, wow, how cool is that thing?
The greatest B-roll invention ever. Pull it out of your pocket and just start walking around and shooting everything. I mean...
Yeah, when you don't need the depth, when you don't mind everything being in focus.
Yep.
Because you're getting that movement anyway. You've got something else that's wowing you. You don't need that blurred background to wow you. But
I agree.
So I used one of those in some of the... we had to test them out for work, and so I just, on a lunch break, went out with another guy, and we shot using it to do a test. And we chased one of the RC cars with it, and wow, that thing was awesome. You know, of course, then I used it at work, too, and it was great. But for RC, if you could get an Osmo, or even just get the Osmo for your phone, like if you don't have the money to get the bigger one, just that smooth capability for your phone. The problem is it's really hard to do it by yourself.
Yes.
Really big grip. So you need somebody else to drive, or you have to get somebody else to film it. But you can get some beautiful shots with those things.
Well, that was when we were driving for New Year's. We went to a friend's house a couple hours away. So, you know, we had that talk in the car, the two of us on the highway.
Yes.
And that was my thing I was bringing up was, and I'm not picking on Peter McKinnon, unfortunately. I mean, he's the one who got us back into YouTube. Nothing but love for him. But a lot of people, it's not him, but everybody else started running with it to the point that everybody figures they have to break the bank and carry large to be able to shoot good vlogs and stuff like that, or good YouTube videos. My point was with the Mavic Air, a good cell phone with a mobile, with the DJI Mobile.
Yeah.
Things are becoming so compact. We could go to Europe and do like full, amazing on broadcast quality video shoots that you could put easily almost in a heavy jacket with some extra pockets. It's become that compact.
Like this camera here, how many times did I use it probably last year? I probably pulled it out and used it 10 times. It's the most expensive one I have. And I'm looking to get, you know, I've got all the glass and lenses, but it becomes a headache to carry it all. And so that becomes prohibitive of going and even doing stories.
Right.
And so whatever you can use that will get you out making stories or making content, that's what I say use. Simplify. And that's what I love about these. And, you know, one day I hope that these become like a DSLR killer, that they can make the glass so good that you can get all the range you need in one thing built in, or even just one lens, you know, that's a go-to lens where I don't have to carry, you know, a bunch. And so this I got literally for doing YouTube because I can do audio, which I think is important. I can get depth of field if I shoot right with it. But I also have all the zoom I want. So if I want to do long shots pressed in with the car coming like from a distance, you know, just across the ground, in and out of focus. I mean, those are awesome shots for RC. And so I can do that with this. And I think I paid $600 for it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
What kind of camera is it? People are asking. What's the make?
This is the same thing that RC Tanks and Trucks uses. He asked me what I was using. He makes awesome videos too. It's a Panasonic FC1000, but now you'd be looking at the Panasonic FC2500. I think it's about $700.
Yeah.
Which I need a new one because this one, my tripod, I had it on my Manfrotto, and one of the legs gave out, like the lock, and it fell over in my garage, and I've got it like taped together on the bottom. If you hit the playback button, it locks up the camera, and you have to drop the battery out. And then put it back in. But everything else seems to work all right still. The screen's a little bit wobbly, but way.
Oh, as long as it works. Jonathan Creek, who, by the way, is a viral video creator in Australia, he says he just shot a TVC recently on an iPhone X and DJI stabilizer and only had challenges in the low light, which I think is the main difference is when it comes to camera quality is the night photography or the evening photography. Other than that, it usually doesn't really matter. I always say it's a tool in your hands and your eyes is what makes it happen.
Right. And being able to tell a story.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like, communication is key. So that's the biggest thing. So I did a whole video, actually, if you wanted to look, it was like how to grow your YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was about communicating, like talking to people. Like, so I realized kind of quickly, not quick enough maybe, but, well, no, I think my first video, I talked to people right to the camera because people they want like community, right?
Yep.
So YouTube's more than just a place to watch videos. You're coming to learn something. You're coming to meet with somebody, you know, to see them or to hear from them. And so a lot of the most popular ones, unless they're just super viral in what they do, have somebody talking. There's personality behind it. You know who you're coming to see. And so that's one of the biggest things I say is add voice to your content. And that's huge.
Sorry.
I don't remember what the video was, like 10 tips for, it was a live video. We did it live, and I use a program that I can run it all from my iPad, and then I can run multiple iPhones as my cameras, which is why I kept the extras, so I could have different angles and top down.
Sorry.
Yeah, so there was that, and then I actually did another one about camera stuff. And again, I keep it as simple as I can. Keep the camera low to the ground for RC stuff when you can. But I have found that people want, as much as I love that, and I love the cinematic stuff, they would rather me hold the camera, you know, chest height, and talk about what's happening the whole time I'm driving the car, explaining, like, it can be wide, it doesn't have to be zoomed in shots of it flying off. Like, they just want to know what you're feeling and thinking and experiencing as you drive the car.
That happens in every niche, and like we've had model railways in here and stuff like that, train, all those different types. I hear that all the time. Even the drone community, some want the cinematic with the music and cut out all the choppiness. Some are insulted if you put anything else on top of it except the bare flight. I do train videos. Some won't watch them. They're like, I don't like music in my train, or I don't want them to edit it. They want the full run from beginning to end without knowing. I'm like, oh my God, for me, it's horrible because that's the best part is cutting out all the bad shots and making it all, you know, symmetric. But yeah, there's a lot of purists that don't get into that stuff.
Yeah. So, and same with photography. There's some people that don't want you to touch anything on their photos.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm like, man, Lightroom the death out of that thing, right? You know, make it look good.
Yeah, exactly. The tools are there.
But I shoot it that way. I shoot it like, wow, these are dark. And so I don't give people my photos unedited because, again, it's about the tools. If you know what you're doing, you can break all the rules. So I intentionally shoot it dark, save the sky, and then I just push everything in post. Mm-hmm. And then I can get, you know, like HDR it, but not really, you know, I'm just painting it in exactly how it was as I saw it, knowing that I'm going to dodge and burn the photo back to save it. So it's kind of intentional saving of a shot in order to save certain elements that you want. It's a little harder with video, but with photos, I cheat it all the time because you're in awful scenarios and I'm running gunning it, you know, it's like news style. So I'm not using on-camera flash, or if I'm using flash, it's, you know, wireless triggers and it's a set up portrait. But, you know, so at that point it's like shoot it dark and then push it when I get it in post. The cameras can handle it nowadays. So, but all my iPhone, like my Instagram, most, you know, a lot of that stuff's pulled out of still frames from the video because I forget to take a picture when I'm out. And so I try and stop at the end and just get a video shot of the car static.
Well, I think that's the interesting part of it is you just get to break the rules and make it fun for yourself too. Yes. You know, that's the part of it. I find it is so interesting when doing that. And then definitely you can't give your raw files to anybody because it doesn't look like it should. That's for sure.
No.
Anybody who's never shot in RAW, it's a very pale version of the shot, and it's not very appeasing to the eye. It's once you bring it back in, that's when you almost retake the shot. You do it within video or photography. They're very large files, but it gives you a lot more manipulation to them in short.
Well, we do it with video too now. We shoot an F-log or
same here.
V-log
Yep.
You're shooting at log.
Yep.
It's washed out and no detail. Everything looks blown out, and
it's not the most. That's not the nicest thing to look at, but it does the job.
Yeah. So when you drop your LUT on it or you correct it in, though, you can save so much.
Unreal.
Yeah. But
it's almost like you're controlling the atmosphere all over again. It has that much power sometimes.
Yeah.
I like shooting in it as well. I like a color grade. I like a standard one across to match it. And if you're outside, especially because you have turning times of light during the day, you can still keep that equalness to it. And
yeah, and it kind of looks a little bit like you're saying that's the kind of unique thing with the Osmo. It almost looks log.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Panasonic Color Science too, is they have one that's called the Cine D, and it looks a lot like that. So it's already baked in.
Yeah.
It's almost log, but it's not. It's got color, but it's not contrasty, so you save a lot of your shadow, and it just looks clean. Like it looks like how people are shooting a lot of commercials nowadays.
Yes.
Like you're talking the lifted blacks and just super clean. Truman Showish.
Do you have any questions, hon? I know we've been getting along.
Well, I've been asking them as we go, and
okay,
there
good,
mostly
good,
has
perfect.
been comments on the gear and what to do as a YouTuber and things like that. Very engaging chat as well. So thank you so much.
Definitely, you guys are awesome. Loving that you guys are loving this talent. It's so inspiring what you do, and the RC and what you do as a photographer, videographer. I love that you bring that into your RC work. You can see it the moment you start watching your videos. It's just like, yeah, this guy, even if you didn't see all what else you do in life, this guy knows what he's doing with a camera.
Well, thanks. It's definitely a passion. It's fun to use that ability for something that I consider fun. Like, so after a while, even though what you're doing is, like humanitarian or even just for TV stuff that I do, like it's cool to do, but it's not necessarily fun. Like it's work, like it's long days and it's tough. It doesn't always work right. And it's just, you're just scraping to get things through and you're traveling and it's, they're just tough days. And some of them are really awesome and others are really tough. But, to have something like this where it's just all about filming for fun, I can do whatever I want. I can just, enjoy the filming. And so, yeah. The RCs have kind of revitalized, like I said, that video side of, I'd gotten so kind of burnt out on it that video kind of excited me, or RC excited me about doing video again.
That's cool.
So even for work, it's brought my work game up another level because of just thinking outside the box with the RC stuff and kind of just having fun with it. So
that's what happens to a lot of people, and I was myself when I studied it and did it as a pastime before, and then when I was working and all the time, it does lose its luster after a while, and you think, how could I ever not like this? Because I love it. It's my passion.
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, sometimes too much exposure to anything can have an adverse effect. So you're lucky you found this, because some people then they just get out of it and they're done. They feel tapped and nowhere left to go. So kudos to you for finding it, that you sparked your interest.
The RC Basher Boy says, with that being said, can Tony make a RC calendar and make my Honcho SCX10 be showcased in the month of October?
Oh,
that's
I see people do calendars on here. Like I follow Solid Gold Aquatics. It's a fish channel. It's about like goldfish, and she's building this whole room. But she does calendars, like goldfish calendars, that they sell every year, and stuff like that. And that's just another way that you can turn a little bit of money out of the game, out of YouTube. Because it's very hard to make. I can't even imagine making a living at it. There's so much that you have to do. People think that it would be, oh, they got it easy. They just do YouTube for a living. I'm like, that's hard work. Like doing YouTube is hard. I've aged quite a bit the last 4.5 years because it's, it's hours and hours and hours. And I probably go to bed at 1 or 2 a.m. every night. And I get up at like 6:30 or 7 until like I've had enough of those days where I can't, and then I sleep till 10 one day, like a recovery day. But I don't sleep much, and I might try and catch 30 minutes somewhere at lunch to kind of recoup.
Wow.
But
Yeah, especially being like freelancing as well and doing everything what you're doing. I think lots of times when we are working for ourselves, we spend much more time doing things because it's always there. Like you know, it's not a work from 9 to 5 when you get to leave it and go home. It's always there. It's not there when you sleep, and you barely sleep anyway. So
right, like after this, I have a phone call with Japan at 10 p.m.
Yes, that's right.
Trip and with one of the people we're going to be interviewing and trying to figure out his story. But you know, that doesn't mean I didn't work all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh well, this meeting, it's an extra, it's a bonus meeting you get to do because they're in a different time zone. So yeah, and then we're trying to pack and go and, you know, do life stuff as well.
Exactly.
But, yeah,
it's a lot. It is a lot.
Jonathan Creek was asked, what is your opinion of overproduction and communicating the power of real and raw to the TV networks? For example, when he does his TV work, often is frustrated that they ask for overlit and overproduced footage.
So say that again. They ask for overlit and overproduced?
Yeah, and how to make them understand that, you know, the real raw footage sometimes is better because it reflects the story much more better than overproducing it.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So that's how I feel too. And I don't like reenactments very much, at least for the work that I do, which is tough because we're telling people stories.
Right.
And so it's like, how can I use something current that's happening that reflects what they're talking about, without having to do a cheesy reenactment. I call them that. They're not all cheesy. Some people do them real well. But with the budgets and time constraints, mine would probably turn out being pretty cheesy on the stories that I do. So it's tough because you always have somebody that you're working for, right? And so they have an idea of what they want it to look like.
Right.
So it comes down to finding the right people to work for or with, and getting to the point where you can turn down people, or they know they come to you because you have a certain style. Like they came to me because I did raw guerrilla style travel videos. And like, I don't know if you can see the one on my Tony Cece channel, that if you scroll through,
what's it called? I can do a search for it. It might be easier.
Just say Clearing Customs Guatemala. And you'll see just even in the intro of some of that, it's produced, but once you get into it, it's kind of raw and just handheld and on the go, mixed in within some very like sweeping shots. And so, but all of it, none of it feels lit. It's all natural. I don't even think we carried any lights with us. So it's tough because you got to do what the client wants is what it comes down to. And so it's about finding clients that have the eye for what you want to shoot. And sometimes you just got to do the ones that you don't want to do because it pays the bills, you know? So
yeah, exactly.
Right? You can't always just be like, you know what? I'm not going to own this one. I'm not going to share it with anybody and say this is my work, but I'm going to do it because it's going to get me a paycheck. I can shoot it exactly how they want. I'll hate it, but you know, I'm getting paid to do it. So I'm delivering a product to a client, and the client asks for this. I prefer not to do that when I can, you know, but there's times when either one, you're helping a friend or somebody you kind of know and that they have a specific need and you're just filling that need, or B, you just really need the money.
Go ahead.
Creative differences aside.
Yeah, I was gonna.
And then you do your own creative projects where you get to have that outlet, and you become like a Peter McKinnon then, where people say, "I want to have you come and just tell us what to shoot." Yeah. Like you are the creative director. We choose you because we've seen what you can do, and so make us something cool. Mm-hmm. And you want to get to that point where people are saying, "We like what you do, and that's why we chose you." So do your thing and make it awesome for us. That's the best spot you can be in.
That's it. At that point, there's not much they want to give at the table. They pretty much know what they're dealing with. They want that look. They want the Peter McKinnon stamp of approval on it. Like, you know, And they've admitted at that point that he has the kind of the say of it because what he's done, and it
Yeah,
takes
you
a while
look
to
at
get
it,
there.
well, I mean, it's the same with that. Shoot, what's the guy that did the big Indiana Jones inflatable balls going down the mountainside?
Oh,
Devin Supertramp stuff. Like, they come to him because in the beginning they did all that cool. He did all those cool just travel videos that show locations.
right.
Beautiful, like, steady cam stuff over cliffs, and he was nuts. But people said, well, we want to pay you to do this and make us an ad out of it, or we want to pay you. And so he started getting all these, like, do your cool, fun videos and then just kind of stamp it with Timex. We're timing this all with the Timex watch. It's just like, so it became a branded, you do your thing, have fun, and we're going to pay you to do it.
Right, exactly. And that's earned. I mean, that's the same as bringing.
Oh, yeah.
That's like bringing Bruce Springsteen into a session. You know what kind of sound, what you're going for. When you ask him, it's not for him to be bossed around. He's pretty much got the say of the show.
And how many floors did he sleep on to get to that point?
That's the point.
In the beginning, right? Even the other guy was traveling cheap and just living off of nothing. He had his, whatever was in his backpack and his camera, and just going from place to place. And now it's a lot different, but
that happens a lot though today, and you hear it. Like, oh my God, I got 400 subscribers, and people, are not getting what I do, and all these things, and it's like, look at these guys, years of paying dues to get what they do. I mean, it's not something you can force. You can only earn it over time.
Yeah.
Oh, very frustrating. It is, and that's the thing that I think today in this world where everything moves so fast, people aren't used to waiting that long for stuff anymore. So, but
right.
Do you shoot, would you say, how many times a week? Like, if you're off on a bit of downtime, because now especially it's freelancing, do you still force yourself to get out shooting a couple times a week?
Well, I'm shooting here in the studio at least probably once a week.
Yeah.
I shoot in my backyard, the videos. So now, I'm waiting to get dirt and stuff brought out to build some bigger jumps out back there. But I try and get out. I'm not getting out as much as I used to. I'm doing more at the studio here, which is kind of interesting. I'd probably rather do the opposite. So I'm trying to figure out where it all fits together at this point again. I'll probably be getting out more, taking lunch breaks and heading out. It's just that it was so convenient that when that trail was right by where I worked, I could be there in 5 minutes.
Right.
So every lunch break, I'd go down there. And if it wasn't jumping stuff and they were broken, I'd just take the crawler trucks and just ride them all over the trails. Yeah. So it's a little bit, now it's like 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back. It's not like an everyday thing.
Right.
So I've been trying to do more in the yard and in the studio to kind of still keep things going. But yeah, I do a lot of editing. So, I go on these trips and I'll shoot a bunch of stories, but then you got to edit them. So I'm sitting here, working on edits during the night and day, and then also editing this stuff. But yeah, I mean, the more you shoot, the sharper you get. And what's cool is, since I shoot Panasonic at home now with this little one for the kit video, all the buttons and the features on this are the same as on the work one. So I was at a point where when I was shooting at home, I was shooting Fuji, and then at work I was shooting Canon. And that was tough because at work I wasn't shooting very much, but at home I was shooting a lot.
Right.
And so whenever I'd go out to work again, like it'd be a couple months, I'd go and feel like a foreign object in my hands, and it'd take me a day or two to just get used to just the workflow of it again, so that I was just like on. Because with that kind of photography and video stuff, you just got to be moving at a clip and tracking everything going on, and everything happens without having to look. You just know what you're doing, and the buttons to push without looking, and what your settings are. So I use a lot of custom settings now too, so that I can just flip between different things, slow motion and that, like C1, 2s, or C1, C2, C3. I'll set them up for different modes where I go to C3 and I'm shooting like 4K 60, so I know I can slow motion stuff.
Programmable buttons are a godsend. They really are, especially when you're jumping, like you say, between the frame rates and all that.
Yeah.
Because that could be a nightmare when it was before all the options were allowing that to do it so fast. But yeah, jumping between two cameras must have been a nightmare.
Yeah. So we've had so much rain here that it's also been hard to get outside. Like that was in my front yard because my backyard is basically a swampland right now. Because we live near an area called the Great Dismal Swamp, which is aptly named.
Yes.
But we're like water level. The water table is we're sea level basically, and so when the rain hits, there's not a lot of place for it to go. So things can get a little bit swampy.
Change of seasons must be fun then. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So right now it's really hot though, and muggy out. But it's been pretty dry for the last week or two. So I've been getting out in the backyard again.
Yeah. So what? You probably have like the coolest backyard in all of the area. I'm sure that everybody knows about it. And the more you're building onto it, the more word is getting out. Do the neighbors come to see you?
No, not really. Some of the kids do. I want to have something out here, get a bunch of people out and do like a little racing and stuff. But we've had like septic things, like they moved where our septic system was, and so we had to tear up all the track and everything.
Oh.
So now what they put in, which costs thousands and thousands, doesn't work right, and so they actually have to redo it. And so I'm not really building until like they're done destroying everything I build, because it's just a pain to build it and have them destroy it. And then the other thing they do is they just use the dirt that's there and they just grade it into the land, and so then there's not the extra dirt anymore.
Oh no.
My heart goes out to you.
Yeah.
So I'm not paying to have dirt delivered again until it won't be brought in. That thing's pretty awesome right there.
Yeah.
So I'm using the plastic jumps for the most part right now, and so I bought some extra. But we do have some pretty good playground stuff, and we got some little inflatable bunkers for Nerf wars, and we like to have fun. There's no doubt about it.
And anybody just who's joined in lately, our guest has 2 channels, of course. He has his own personal one with his video photography, which is absolutely, I would say stunning is even kind of a...
understatement.
Yeah, there's an understatement. I just can't even think of a word that will work properly for it. The work is so sublime. Like, it's unbelievable.
That's the Ukraine story right there with the bunkers surviving on. There were some of them.
Which one is it? Sorry?
So I think if you go to playlists, yeah, so those are from all over. But up at the top, if you hit the playlist, it has videos that I have on other channels. So videos produced for Operation Blessing, the second one on the top.
Yep.
That one has some of the videos in I was telling you about, the more produced ones.
Oh, okay. We just have to be careful because we're showing it from we usually don't show channel videos from other channels, so I'm just gonna go.
Okay.
Just because sometimes we've had trouble in the past.
Okay.
But maybe we can put a link as well for everybody to check out.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah. So there's some like that's the surviving on the front lines of the conflict.
That's crazy. Like that. What an experience. What was something to capture.
The Zika, we flew into Zika when it was rampant in Latin America and had to film there.
Wow.
So those are where you get worried. Like that's easier, where anybody can be a victim because you're in the area where the mosquitoes are, and all you have to do is be bit. So
that must be an awful feeling all the time when you're there. Like that must be on your mind constantly.
Yeah, and luckily I don't get bit by mosquitoes very often. So wow. I was all right, but we wear like the long sleeves and everything, trying to make sure that. And they were the like mosquito repellent ones. So.
It sounds like I wanted to ask you if growing up you were into kind of risky stuff as well, because it is amazing what you're doing. You get to travel in a lot of places, but it is still a lot of calculated, known risk. Is it something that you were doing growing up, or something similar that you were into? No, I was into music. I had my brothers and them used to do pictures and video stuff for me because I was in bands and stuff. And my dad was an artist and he was an art teacher. And so I think that's kind of where I got the basic, like seeing things in frames and everything, kind of through the landscape of art and being in a frame, art being contained in a frame, whether it's video
you're looking at life in a little square, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, so I think through that and being introduced to art in that way, when it did, I mean, I was 25 or so. No, that's not true. 22 when I started actually getting into like video and stuff, photos.
Oh.
And even then it was slow. And then I went back to school. And so when I was like, I think it was 25 when I went back to college. I got a master's in communication. And but even then I was still very much a rookie. That was the photo I was talking about.
Yes.
The man that was not posed. He was just sitting there like that. And I just saw the light. So
beautiful photo. We found it after when you were talking. Once you showed up the picture, then I was able to track it down.
Okay.
But I wanted everybody to see it who hasn't been in a bit, because you're working, like I say, as you're talking, I'm just showing everybody some of the shots.
Yeah, there were some with this Wudabi tribe in Niger that were just amazing. The dust and the light and everything was wonderful. And they were just getting ready, putting on makeup, and because the men at that point, they do, you know, they try and lure the women through this dance that they do. Wow. And they get all dressed up and they put makeup on, and it's awesome, and they dance. So yeah, I was photographing them because they were literally just preparing to do the dance for me, so I could see what it was like and film them doing it. So that was I got actually stuck. The one with the Vespa, I got stuck in Paris on my way back from Niger. Is when the hurricane hit New York. And I got stuck in Paris for 3 days, and I was in flip-flops and shorts.
Oh my God.
Remember in Paris, and it was so cold. And so I ended up having to go and buy some warmer clothes and boots and all that, because your luggage doesn't come off on the layover.
Yes.
Because it's still a layover.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, I just snapped that when they got off and walked away. But I won actually an award for this one of all my photos. I shot it black and white. In that I have a Sony, the Sony. It was their first mirrorless ones.
Okay.
So before they went to the A6000 and all that,
mm-hmm.
They had the Sony, Sony F, I don't know, 5R.
That could be.
Yeah, the Alpha NEX 5. That was what it was. So I had an NEX, and I love that camera. I still love that camera. I have it. And it was APS-C and tiny, and I just carried it with me and had a couple different lenses on it. 16 millimeter with a wide angle attachment that went on it that made it fisheye. Wow. And it was awesome.
It is a beautiful photo.
Yes.
And isn't that surprising with all the bright color and all the things you work with? That happens. Photographers sometimes, you know, when they do, it's the black and white one that really still catches the awards, you know, and stuff.
Yeah.
And not that it's not a great photo, but usually a lot of times as people think all photographers only shoot almost like, you know, anything for themselves, what they want to put ahead is black and white.
Yeah.
But a lot just have a very small part of that in their repertoire.
Yeah. So I just went and I turned everything into black and white when I shot it in their like little creative mode. Mm-hmm. Just so that I couldn't come out of it. Like I couldn't choose later to, like I'm forcing myself to make these black and white. I want these black and white. So I did a whole series of them in Paris.
Well, it's great to challenge yourself sometimes, you know, and put the limits to what you can do. You know, for example, doing some stuff with zoom and after just putting the prime lens on when you have to actually walk towards the object yourself. You know, things like that. I think it keeps that inspiration, you know, and creativity going, just to learn something new with what you have already.
That's when that Fuji came out that everybody wanted. That was that XT100 or whatever, where it only was a 24 millimeter lens basically, and you had to that's all it could be. And so you just have to move with your feet. You zoom with your feet is what I say. So I made a book like how to, you know, take better photos with your smartphone. And that was kind of like a fundraising tool for Operation Blessing as well. And that was one of the things was zoom with your feet, not with your camera at that time. But it was all just the simple, most basic techniques for getting better pictures with a smartphone, because you can take fantastic photos. Because when I even looked through the book at how many of them I took with my iPhone, I was like, wow, these were taken with a phone. It's crazy.
It is mind blowing. It's come so far and I mean, we even call it a phone. We shouldn't even call it a phone anymore by this point.
No, Gail Crabtree was asking, how are you handling getting the permissions for the pictures?
It depends on the country. Each one has different. So like now when I travel and do interviews, we do like release forms that they have to sign. Some of these other ones, it's just in part of like written into if they want to be helped. Like that's part of the contract is that, you know, that they'll be okay with being used in photos and stuff that, you know, show the project going on and the people that are part of the project.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of written into, you know, if you're signing to be helped, then, you know, we want to be able to show people where their money's being used and how it's being used. And so they sign on to it that way. So I also, like for my personal stuff, I just don't sell it. So like that photo from Paris, you know, it's not for sale or anything, but you also don't see their faces. And if you're going to do stock photography and things like that, there's a lot more stipulations on, they ask if you have permission for the property, for the people, for, you know, so many things. So, but as you can see here, those guys stood and posed. So
it's an amazing photo though.
They verbally gave permission. I didn't even pose them. They just kind of stood there like that. And I'm like, okay, this works. This is beautiful.
That's
I'll
awesome.
move.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Do you ever put them in the words, like the competitions, the many competitions of photography that are there?
I haven't done much. No, I'm partly too busy to just even stop and do it as part of the problem.
Yeah.
And I constantly want to be on the go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually a screenshot from an interview. You can see, no, it wasn't a screenshot. I just took his picture after. You can see the microphone clipped on his. But that was the interview shot, and that was like natural light coming in from a window, and you just got to use and then move stuff around in the room.
Beautiful.
And use light the right way. I tell people, they ask what lights I use. I say most of the time I use the best, biggest light I can, the sun.
Yes.
And I use windows and the shade. People are like, oh, well, I just use the shade. I'm like, well, there's different degrees of using the shade. Like, so to tell somebody, oh, your best shots are in the shade. Well, there's a difference between the edge of the shade or being deep into the shade. So if they're standing at the edge of the shade, so their face and that are perfectly shaded from the sun, they still get reflection bouncing off the ground that'll light up their eyes. And so you want to have, in my opinion, life in the eyes. So you want to have light in people's eyes. So I try and get it where they're standing so that light will be reflected and visible in their eyes. So I try and be at the edge of shade when I can.
What a stunning work.
it's
Unbelievable.
It really is phenomenal.
True talent.
Yeah.
That's my favorite picture. The woman with it's Mariama. No. Oh my gosh. Oh man. It's
The mood.
I'm blanking on her name. Starts with a Y though. I did a video on her family. We followed her through a dangerous place, a dangerous walk for water, a dangerous walk for dangerous water. That's what it's called. Wow. So they had to do this dangerous walk where there's scorpions and poisonous snakes that people die going on just the way to get the water, and then the water that they get is dangerous to drink. It's, you know, they get a whole bunch of stomach problems and issues, and you can see the baby's got like the marks all over her body.
Yeah.
I know it's a very powerful photo. It really, really is.
But I just followed her in, and she literally just set it there and then looked down like that. And I just had positioned myself. I was videoing, okay, and that's one of those moments where I say, photo.
Yeah.
You know, like I see her look down, and you know I'm behind. I just kind of brushed across the shirts in the foreground and said, "That's it right there." Like it's yeah. You read a scene and try and put yourself in the right spot. But that's definitely one of my favorite images I've ever taken. And it was early on in my career doing it too.
Unbelievable though.
That was in cholera. Those are called Lifesaver jerry cans. And so they've been given those because you could literally, we had to do it so we had to prove to them that you could drink the cholera water. So you'd stick that thing down in the cholera water and then pump it out into a plastic water bottle that we had.
Okay.
And then we'd have to drink it and prove to them that they weren't going to get cholera if they drank from it. And they're like, if these crazy white guys from the U.S. will drink this water, then it's safe, for us to drink too. Because you're handing them this tool that they've never seen before and expecting them to trust that it works with it. I mean, they're expensive to give out, but it's totally worth it because it's saving lives. But yeah, I mean, that pretty much just helped eradicate it in their whole community. After they got those, no more signs of cholera. When we got there, they were building coffins, literally. Wow. We're filming, kid-sized coffins for children that had been dying from cholera.
That's so powerful.
And how much does that impact your life? Like, I mean, scenes like that and stuff like that. I mean, how much do they come back in your dreams, your thoughts, stuff like that? Because I'm guessing you never really leave it behind.
It's surprising. I think in some ways I say like God protects me from it in some ways.
Right.
But I also think that having your camera there is kind of like the separation from what's actually happening. Mm-hmm. Because you're trying to, you're in the moment too. So there's no getting around that. You're not always filming. You're there, you're feeling it. But like, I cannot go back and watch the footage I shot after the earthquake in Haiti. Like the wounds, the injuries, the people that are being helped and rescued. Like, I would throw up if I watched it now. But somehow in that moment you get through.
Right.
And so I have not had any nightmares or dreams about it. No, like post-traumatic. Like, I guess part of it's just my mindset is like stuff happens, and so what can we do now? And I think that's even in my, my case, seeing it like, okay, this happened, but you've got to find a way to move on.
Right.
So maybe in some ways I'm just a little too detached from stuff, but I think that in some ways it's good too, because you don't let it drive you crazy.
Well, yeah, and I mean that would be the same as like an ambulance driver or anything. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like anybody who's around a lot of traumatic experiences, that's how come somebody can do it for 30 years. At some point, or a nurse or whatever. We're all human, but they got to find a way to do a job.
Yeah.
When you look at somebody,
make them crazy. Some people, yeah.
Yeah. Some people say it's not for me, and 3 months later they're out the door because it's just they can't let that go. And I'm supposing you have to. It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess, my dad passed away last year, and it was tough.
Our condolences to
you.
And going through all of it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it sucks, and there's times where I wish I could talk to him and call him or whatever. But it's also like you have to move on, like and keep going, and because your life has to keep progressing, and so I've got things I've got to take care of and kids, and so while it's sad in that moment, and I wish that he was still around, but it also is just like you've just got to find a way to move beyond things that happen in your life. And so I think that's just kind of I in some ways I'm blessed to be able to do that, like to be able to see the stuff that I've seen, experience, and to experience, and just say, wow, we helped a lot of people. And, we had to be there, and then you move on. What's the next thing to do? Like, I'm ready for the next mission, So.
Well, that's why I asked you, because when you were talking about the cholera-stricken water in that picture, I mean, that's where the reward would be in not only getting to, but being able to capture this moment where this is saving a village right here.
Yeah. It's pretty iconic and cool too, because it's almost like flowers out there, like the yellow pop and the green water.
Yes.
So it's just visually such a cool image in that way. They literally just came, like, so we're sitting there. We met some people. We basically drove on this little inlet, and we were mud bogging. Like, so we had these 4-wheel drive trucks with like the skid plates on the bottom, snorkels, and we're just literally going through water and through like the gnarliest muddy. We're winching ourselves out, winching people out of our way so we could keep going, that we're stuck in the road. And we got to this place, and because we've been calling, And so we met 2 guys, and we said, bring people back. Here's, tickets. We have a ticket for every one of these cans. So go give them to the community. Only people with tickets are going to get one. Because you've also got to make sure that you don't make a scene where riots can happen, because they can happen very easily. So people that don't know what they're doing and they just show up and want to help, and they go and buy a truckload of food and drive right into the middle of where everybody's, camping in tents, they're going to come up and they're going to just riot around your vehicle to get the food that's in there. So everything's got to be organized and through lines, and it seems weird, but it's in order to protect people,
Yeah.
So when we do food distributions or feedings, we'd have it in like a stadium or some kind of building where there was an entrance. And so people would be let through an entrance and they'd be, taken out the other way. And so that, only the amount of people could come through for basically the amount of food we had. But yeah, so they come wading through the water at us. It's just the most surreal scene. Like they're just walking, and it's slow because it's like waist deep water. It's not easy to walk through.
Yeah.
It's probably mucky and whatever. And then we do the thing. We show them how to use them, how to clean them, and then they go walking back off, carrying these on their heads.
It's so impressive.
And then we went back months later, and they hadn't had cholera. They were still using them. They were all these yellow cans at every house on that. And it wasn't flooded like that anymore either. So that was part of the problem, is all the flooding. And that meant the cholera water just went so many places.
Jeez. Very inspiring. I can just imagine being there and seeing that happen. Like as you're watching it, it's got to be a rush. I mean, there's a shot too of the children with the water too. Like, I mean, the clarity into it and that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Very. I mean, the pictures say 1,000 words, but to be there must say 1,000,000 phrases.
Yeah. So that was that woman that was carrying that bucket.
Right.
That was her community. So we dug them a well. But before the well was finished, we happened to come there the night before, and the ladies were just leaving. And so we literally just followed them, which is probably good that we did it before we did the interview.
Right.
Because I probably wouldn't have wanted to go where we went to get the water. We're just like, oh, they're going, let's go. And so like hindsight, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And I rolled up my pants and I went into the water with them, and then we come back and do the interview, and I was like, wait, what? They say snakes and scorpions?
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And I wasn't like, I'm walking through the grass to get around them, to get the shot and get in front of them so I could track in front of them. Yeah. Things I probably wouldn't have done so freely had I known. So I've had a lot of dumb luck protection in some ways too. But my biggest fear is like Africa, like the green mamba snakes and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
That must be.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that, to be honest. I don't know.
But you're just walking through bush and stuff, and it could be anywhere.
That's crazy. Because I mean, all that stuff, and like we talked about, like, with the mosquitoes and everything else, these are things that you can't easily control. Like, that's the thing that I would find the hardest, is dealing with what you can't have any control over. And the mindset it must put you into while you're there, a different frame of mind once you accept the fact that you got to be on the lookout for these things. And do you feel that still, like, once you leave, like coming back home, is there like an adjustment period?
Oh yeah, you come back and like seeing the excess behind me is kind of crazy,
Right.
The things that we take for granted.
But also, say you're in a place, like say you're in the Ukraine, and all your safety issues and that will take even man-created ones. Like when you come back home, do you have a couple of days where you're almost kind of still looking a bit over your shoulder, a bit more cautious because you're still in that mindset from when you left there?
Not usually. Usually when I get back, I guess sometimes I think we should look over our shoulders more here in the U.S. than some of the places I go. I mean, when you look at our crime rates and stuff here, and I think about people that are traveling to the U.S. and they're looking up cities where they're going to travel to, and they're like, whoa, look at all the murders there. And, but yeah, it's not too bad. It's more I look at everything we have sometimes to think, why do we need all this? Like we have so much.
Yeah.
Just been where people don't have, or they're struggling, and you know, it makes it tough. Or like your kids get like complaining about the food they have to eat, and you know, it's like, yeah, well, you know, the kids that just came from don't have anything to eat at all.
Right.
And you're worried about, you know, an awesome hamburger in front of you, like.
And you're complaining because there's relish on it, you know, like
puts
that's
it
like,
in perspective for sure.
Yeah, the perspective that it gives you is definitely, you know, life changing. But yeah.
Wow. We'll have to let you go soon because I know you have a call for, with Japan. I just wanted to ask you about your channel's future, of course. And if you can mention your giveaway that you are having on your RC channel.
Exactly.
Yeah. So CCXRC is going strong. And I foresee it just, you know, I'm just going to keep going at it. So, because I love doing it. And so there's no reason for me not to do it.
Right.
Every time I go out with an RC, pretty much, I take a camera with me. So I have my phone with me. I'll have to bring a selfie stick and that microphone. And so, yeah, I think that is, hopefully, you know, we'll just keep going and making videos that people like seeing, come up with some new fun ways to make it interesting and more than just run videos and unboxings, but find ways to make it a useful tool for people. So hopefully we'll do that. We did hit 20,000 subscribers, and I really love these awesome magnetic mats that are called Cow RC mats. And people have been telling me for years to get them. I'm like, I'm fine, you know, whatever. I don't mind if I have to reach down and find the screw. But I'll tell you, it is a game changer to have when your screw drops when you're working, it just hits and stops. It's awesome. So I bought 4 of them that I'm giving away just as a way to say thank you. One of them's local, only for people that live in Virginia Beach. I want to go to our local hobby shops. I wanted to throw them some support too, get people in the doors. They can go in and look at what they have on the shelves there. And then I'm doing one through Venom Power RC Lifestyle page, which is a great battery company who's really supported me. And even last year, I guess, sponsored me to, you know, send me batteries and stuff when I need them for certain vehicles I get. And so I just wanted to help them out and get some more eyeballs on their Facebook page, and so that we can win it there. But there's 2 of them I'm giving away to YouTube people. I've had to change the rules a little bit because so many people are now getting off of Facebook. Like, I'm, you know, especially YouTubers. You YouTubers are like conspiracy theorists, I think.
Oh yeah.
So, somebody say, "Oh, that's awesome giveaway, but sorry, I can't, you know, be part of it because I don't have Facebook, so I can't like your Facebook page." And so, like, well, if you don't have one, you can still win anyway, you know. So we're just lightening it up. Just have to comment on the video and be subscribed to the YouTube channel. You have to comment on the actual giveaway video on YouTube and subscribe, and you'll be entered. But you have to be from the U.S. and Canada, just because of shipping. So I'm paying to buy the units and to ship them out, and just shipping costs are, even to my house, which is only not far from where he is, you know, a state or 2 away, was, you know, fairly expensive because they're kind of heavy rolled up mats. It's like 4 pounds or something.
You're even brave shipping to Canada with the charges here. My hat's off to you.
Yeah, so
it is not cheap.
Guys, I'm putting the link in the chat as well if you want to go and check
Yes.
that out. The video explaining all and everything and showing the beautiful mats there. Check that out. The link is right in the chat.
Tony, I really want to thank you for tonight. You've been absolutely amazing. You are such a talented person, and I mean, a wealth of knowledge is probably the most underestimated term I can use tonight.
Yes.
But your photography, your videography, and of course your RCs, and they all complement each other. You are really a true YouTuber. I got to say that. I've been waiting to say that for over 2 hours now. You really are the epitome of what YouTube's all about.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been a pleasure to be on here. I love what you guys are doing with these videos. And these tuber ones, especially, where we can see what other YouTubers are doing.
Thank you.
And I like the shout out, the spin one too. It's pretty cool.
Well, you got to balance.
I love
the
the idea. What a cool thing.
Well, you know, any teacher will tell you the best way to learn is when you're having fun doing it, and that's what people
Right.
don't even realize. That so.
Yeah, well, it's been a pleasure to be on here and talk. I mean, I could talk about photography and RCs and all this stuff all day long.
Well, we'll probably have to set something up and get you guys back. Maybe we'll do a panel with RCs or something like that.
Yes, definitely. Cool. Thank you so much for your time, and be safe in Japan. Good luck, and we're looking forward for more footage from there.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you everybody in the chat. I've been watching the chat roll, so thank you guys for tuning in and watching.
And we'll talk to you soon. Be safe. Keep in touch, okay? Thank you. Have a good one. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, that was amazing.
Really
Such a talented man.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, go check it out. All the links are down below for his personal channel and also social media, as well as his RC channel on social media. Go follow it all. Check it out. Also, check out Operation Blessing website. All is there. I even dropped the link for volunteering options if that's something you're looking for. You can even volunteer in your local area for flood relief, for example, and things like that. So go check it out if that's what you're interested in, and participate in a 20K subscriber giveaway that's going on RC channel. That is something amazing right there that you can go over and check it out today.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes, that was amazing. I mean, such a talent. I'm sure if he would participate in those photo contests, he would knock it off the park. I mean, this is... I keep coming back to this photo. This is like the high... I wouldn't say National Geographic because of the colors so bright. It's such a contrast from what you usually see in the African countries when photos are taken. Yeah. It's iconic. It really, really is. He broke all the rules almost doing it, and that's what makes it so absolutely amazing. And I love when photographers, videographers do that. I mean, it's great to know the rules when you start, so you know what you can work with. But I love when people experiment, when you play around, because that's when the best comes out. And I mean, these photos are stunning. Yeah. There doesn't even matter what kind of equipment he's using. It's his eyes that makes it happen and telling the story. So amazing. Such a pleasure and honor to be talking to you today. Thank you so much.
Crazy. Yes, it was an unbelievable conversation. I think everybody got to hope a little more inspired for their work on here. That's the whole hope with these interviews, is to inspire by people doing great things in here. And everybody is. You're on YouTube, you're already on your way to doing really amazing things on this platform. There's all kinds of opportunity, and you definitely want to take advantage of those. You guys have been awesome too, getting us out there.
Thank you for all the retweets. Thank you so much, and all the posts as well. We're going to be back tomorrow with our Tuesday Tech Talk as always, a 3-hour think tank where we talk about everything and everything. Apple had a huge announcement today. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Article 13 is going to be voted on tomorrow as well, so we'll definitely check in on that. And yeah, your questions answered together right here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. You absolutely are fantastic. We are getting closer. We're getting closer, guys, to hitting 300,000 views. It's going to probably be by tomorrow, I would say. So I want to thank you for that, because without you guys, none of that. Dangerous is asking for selfies. Yes.
And while Andrew is looking that, I'm going to remind you that we are going to have a huge Party Friday going on exactly a year on March 29th since we started this show. Yeah. And we're going to be celebrating on Friday at 7, so book your calendars.
Let me see. I'm just getting them set up here. Vexy. Okay, hang on 1 second. There we go. So we got Vexy. We got Vexy, the selfie. Yes, look at that. That site must be like have so much anime into it. I couldn't even believe how much.
And there's Dangerous Criminals with I Rock with Pusa Studios. Love that.
Very cool. Thank you so very much for that. Honored. I love the logo on there. That's the way to do it. DC, great work. Thank you so very much. Oh, Spencertainment, don't worry about that.
Of course.
You know how we go already.
Well, it might be in different color, Drunking. I'm sure there's going to be some wheel spinning too.
Now, Dave, is this stuff all out of your garden, my friend?
Probably. Oh, that's so amazing.
Cilantro kale dip. I'm guessing it's got to be a connection. It's got to be zoned to show it like that. Awesome picture. Yes, we're guilty of tuning in to Pusa Studios while we're driving. Oh my God, that is such a great selfie too. Oh guys, you're looking awesome. That is so cool.
Yes, that is amazing. Thank you so much for watching us.
Safe on the road. Safe on the road.
Yes.
Safe on the road. But thank you so much. Love seeing you guys. Sarah's Abstract Expressions. Even Roman loves watching you guys.
I love that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yes, pets love watching us.
Yeah, we're like pet whisperers, I guess, or something like that.
Yes.
That's, and there once again, guys, our guest for tonight, Cece XRC. If you have not grabbed him yet, this is the chance. You definitely want to check it out, guys. That channel is gonna it's already 20,000. It's just the tip of the iceberg. So you can say, hey, I knew that channel back when. That's the gift of that. So, and definitely check out his other channel as well under his name, Tony Cece. Stunning work. And you can also look him up on Viewbug and 500pics.com. Beautiful photography. I don't think there wasn't one person tonight that wasn't completely blown away by what they seen. So I think we got everything, guys. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Anything you want to do, hun?
No, just wanted to remind you guys that our special for our Blue Ranch group merch is running out on Friday. So don't forget to check that out with all our promotional codes right there in the chat. We'll see you
definitely
tomorrow.
Yep.
At 7.
Less than 24 hours away, guys. We'll be back with, that's right, Tech Talk Tuesday. So he's a good driver. Ask him about oval racing.
Well, you'll have to go to his channel and ask him that question.
Yes.
And all the links are down below in the description, guys. If you can come back and leave a comment on the video, we do appreciate that when you do. If you can, that's okay as well. And we hope you can make it back right here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern.
See you soon, guys. Take care and be well. Thank you.